Welcome, fans, to S.E.N. We are here live tonight with the Broadneck Bruins, who are hosting the Meade Mustangs. This is a game you do not want to miss. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with all of the action.
How good is the method? Have they played two really good teams, or perhaps they were a little overrated?
What's up? This is DeAndre Payne. You're watching S.E.N. television.
You are listening to Psychotics.
Welcome back. As we get started, I need to introduce you to two very important gentlemen joining me tonight, Mr. Wes Fox
Howdy doody.
and Mr. Chad R. Amazing.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yes, indeed, we cannot forget Halloween. And by the way, if you have on a costume and you like to tweet it to us, do that. We may give you a shout out tonight. But we're going to get started with Mr. Wes and Chad. We have some players to watch tonight, gentlemen. Wes, would you like to start it off?
Absolutely. Very exciting action. You know, Broadneck coming into this game undefeated this season. Meade with a record of 7-1. After an early loss to Old Mill, they rattled off some really impressive wins. Me coming in, of course, Travis Cheetah, Troy Bound, and his Bree Hart and his three wide receivers that are a three-headed monster.
Yes.
This is my train of thought here.
There we go.
For the Broadneck Bruins.
It's Halloween, Wes Fox. For the Broadneck Bruins, of course, everything starts and ends with Kanan Gabley. Big-time quarterback, does a bit of a dual threat in the fact that he can throw the ball, a beautiful deep ball, and he can run the ball as well. And then the other two players are coming on the defensive side of the ball. We're talking about Will Schwab, and we're also talking about Jake Skinner. Two playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. All three of those young men are going to have to step up big time if Broadneck is to pull off this victory here tonight.
And I understand there is a transfer. Bree Hart came in from Pilati, if I'm not mistaken. So he's here, ready to get things done. Wes, what needs to happen tonight to pull out a victory for your guys?
Well, not for my. I just so
Well, for
happened.
the team,
just
that's
so
right.
happened to be
We're
the
on an
team
even kill here.
that shows that I drew the straw to analyze tonight. I think what Meade's going to have to do is really, really contain Kanan Gabley in this attack, this Broadneck attack that's really, and as you mentioned earlier in the pregame, I won't call them a finesse team, but they will have finesse-like tendencies,
Right.
and especially the way they handled Arundel last week. The number one team here in the area, 42-12. I mean, an impressive victory for a lot of people, but to the Broadneck community and the fans and this team, really not a surprise. They went in that expecting to win, and Coach Rob Harris had mentioned, he said that may have been the most important victory of this team's or this school's history. But we
Absolutely.
can't have an important victory unless it's the playoffs. Meade's just going to have to contain, keep the ball in their hands, and really, really limit Gabley's attempts and have him scramble and confuse him.
Absolutely. And Chad, with Broadneck standing at the top of
Right.
their region, what do they
Yeah.
need to do to maintain and to win tonight?
Broadneck coming in at 8-0. The thing to keep in mind, though, is that they did lose the previous two seasons to this Meade Mustangs team. Meade is on a roll right now, and in my opinion, they may be a little bit more tougher of these two teams. So in order for Broadneck to pull off this victory here tonight, the first thing that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to match the aggression of this Meade team. That's on the line of scrimmage. That's down the field. That's everywhere on the field. The very second thing that they're going to have to do is Mini Manziel, as I like to call him, Kanan Gabley, is going to have to get off, both passing the ball and running the ball, because he's a very effective runner. And finally, I like to call it this, they need to unleash the hammer, the nail, and the broom. That's that three-headed linebacking core. A lot of talent over there. All three of those guys are going to have to make big plays tonight. If that happens, Broadneck can win this game.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen, for that information. We are all set to kick off here. And here we go as Broadneck sends it down to the old gold and black Meade Mustangs. And Meade with the first possession of the game tonight. That kick return was fielded by number 4, that is. And West Fox, I'll let you jump in here.
And as you mentioned last season, Meade having Broadneck fell to Meade not only once but twice.
Right.
Once in the regular season, another time in the first round of the Maryland State 4A playoffs. Meade made it all the way to the state semis, and then unfortunately, they just happened to fall to a very talented Siouxland team who went on to be the state runners-up. They were rather disappointed. Felt like they could have been in that position.
Absolutely. And as we take off a 1st and 10, that was a handoff to running back number 2, Travis Chibade.
It's an excellent play call on that play. You want to take aggression of the flow style that this Broadneck defense runs. Read option from the quarterback, was able to get out on the wing, no containment.
That's right. And Chibade picks up the first down, and we are once again in the pistol. Meade quarterback as the fans chant defense.
Chibade last season was the backup for Kyle Edwards. Really came on strong last season, and he's done big things for this Meade Mustang crew this season.
And again on the handoff to Chibade, he eludes a few tackles and he is taken down.
What do you think about that arm tackle by Ty Wayne Harmon? Pretty much shook hands with him and said, "You're not going anywhere."
He was able to bring him down. He did on that play a far better job of holding down the end on that one. On the initial play, we saw him get blocked on the inside, which is why it was so easy for the running back to make it to the outside. But he set the edge, kept containment.
And Brehart once again in the backfield with him is Chibade. We have a wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. And there may be a little confusion on the Meade side. Hart looking back, hits his receiver. Number 11, Elijah Roberts.
Roberts, part of that those 3 wide receivers that Hart has to throw to, including Troy Brown and Will Huff. All 3 of them, as I mentioned, not home run hitters,
right.
All very effective.
And the more that they can get the ball out of the quarterback's hand very quickly here, the more that limits the blitzing style that this Broadneck defense does. They like to bring the house. If the quarterback can get it out quickly, it takes that away.
Hart in the pistol. We have trips to the top of your screen. Chibade in the backfield.
It's interesting. Will Schwab, one of the better linebackers in this conference here, he plays the pass just as well as he plays the run. We'll get to see a bit of him.
Absolutely. And on that play, Hart keeps that run, and he makes it down to just above the 40-yard line. We're at the 42-yard line. What do you see so far, gentlemen?
An effective offensive stand here thus far for Meade. I mean, early on in the game, but first downs, Meade, the clock keeps running and keeps that potent Broadneck offense up the field.
Power running attack right now by Meade. We're seeing them, they're not coming out to be cute. They're coming out to take the ball right down Broadneck's throat.
Absolutely. Hart on the handoff to Chibade. 7-yard gain on that.
And I like
and there's a first down. I'm sorry, Wes.
That's fine. I like Chibade's decision making. I mean, it's one move and go.
Yes.
Not necessarily all the way downhill, but enough.
Absolutely.
And there was a no huddle on that. Offense got right to it. Chibade again, right up the middle.
To your point, West Fox, that appears to be exactly what it is that they're looking to do with their game plan as they speed up the pace. Again, they're running straight forward. They're saying that their offensive line can beat up this Broadneck defensive line. Chibade is getting 5 yards before he's even touched.
2nd and 7. Hart again in the pistol.
You see Broadneck has changed up its defensive front, going to a 4-man front to attempt to deal with this power running attack.
Yes, they are. And Meade seems in a hurry to get down there to that end zone. They're wasting no time.
Definitely not a hurry here on this particular play.
Not on this particular play. As soon as I said that, Wes, I kind of wanted to do a check that.
Now that was about the 4th time here on this specific offensive set that Bree Hart and this Meade offense has done that. Gets under center, picks up, and then looks towards the sideline. I'm not particularly sure if that's just a cadence thing or that's a comfortable thing. That's something they continue to do all season just to keep the defense on its heels.
Just to keep the defense right.
But,
on its heels or off its heels, whether we want to say it whichever way. But 2nd and 12. Hart looks back. Intended return. Oh, wow. Thought he had that one. That was intended target. Troy Brown on the reception. A bobble. Almost a pick. Thought he had it again, but he just could not hold on to that ball.
Is it 44? Skinner.
Well,
And
Tywayne Harmon
third
there.
down here.
Tywayne Harmon there on the coverage. Tipped it up, gave Brown another opportunity to come down with it.
And Hart is able to hit his receiver. I'm sorry. That was actually an incomplete pass. And it will be 4th down for Meade.
Great job by this Broadneck defense. They came out and Meade got a couple of
Tonight.
And we'll get a great look at that Meade defensive view we talked about earlier on in the game. Coach Rick Holzer, usually sometimes we've seen the season that this is 4-down territory.
Correct.
Specifically for high school teams. Definitely looking to get that potent defense, if there's such a thing, on the field.
And you know, West Fox, I'm interested to see exactly how Meade game plans this game. We're speaking to some of the Broadneck faithful here earlier before the game, and they made the great point that Meade is playing for potentially their playoff lives here this week. A few very strong teams fighting for positioning, fighting for seeding, and also fighting for the right just to go, period.
Yep.
You don't make your schedule, but if you're Meade, you have to scratch your head and wonder how you usually Broadneck and Arundel in weeks 9 and 10 of the season.
It's actually one of the mistakes that Old Mill also made at the beginning of the season, scheduling those two teams. They got off to a slow start.
Wow. First play for Broadneck, gentlemen. Left wide open. I'm not sure what happened to Meade's defense, but Alec Rudin, one that you cannot allow this to happen with, went up the seam, touchdown, Broadneck. Gentlemen, that was way too easy.
You want to talk about getting off to a fast start. This Broadneck offense definitely did that. Alec Rudin, leading receiver for this team coming into this game. He had 31 receptions, 573 yards, and 10 touchdowns. West Fox, you can add another one to that.
Well, the senior captain there, he make no mistake about it. He knew the play call. Pump fake. Cornerback was one-on-one coverage. Got Drew in. I mean, got sucked in and way too aggressive. I mean, you get too aggressive, sometimes you leave 90 yards of room in front of you and the receiver, which is not a place you want to be caught in.
Not a place you want to be. Great start for Kanan Gabley, this whole Broadneck offense.
And I have to question the coverage on that. You have no over-the-top help, and yet you're jumping the gun on a pump fake, knowing that Gabley likes to throw, knowing that he's been a gunner thus far this season, or not thus far, but throughout the entirety of the season. Here we are in week 9. I think you're rolling dice way too early in the game to try to jump on that pump fake.
And a lot of times you see that in a game this large, a game with this type of magnitude, you see players want to go out there and make plays on the field, as Taylor Swift would say, but the cornerback jumped the route, ended up getting beat deep for it. 6 points from Broadneck.
And make no doubt about it, if he rolls the dice and rolls 7 on that, that's a pick 6. But
precisely.
I get the high risk, high reward of that decision. But man, you know, what we 8:43 left in the first quarter. May have been a bit too early for my taste.
Well, there's one thing that I'm certainly offended by already in this broadcast.
What is that?
That's that I threw in a Taylor Swift player is going to play reference there, West Fox, and you went right over it.
I'm sorry, man. It's
Okay.
My
Okay. It's Halloween, West Fox.
Me being up to my P's and Q's on pop culture.
Yes.
Is like I'm trying to think of an equal reference, and I'm drawing a blank here. It's not very good.
Well, gentlemen, let me add, got to give credit where credit's due. Kevin Coffey on that extra point for Broadneck, and that does bring our score to 7-0. Broadneck up, as you said, West Fox, with about 8 minutes and 43 seconds left in the first quarter. Once again, we'll see what Meade has brought to the table tonight at Broadneck High School.
Always one of the important parts of getting on the board early and getting on the board first is that you can somewhat lessen that rushing attack that Meade had. And the more that Broadneck can get them into obvious passing situations, again, the more that they can unleash that blitz, they can unleash a Jake Skinner to get out to the quarterback.
And we are now waiting for them. They believe they needed to get the correct ball out there.
Listen, we heard that this Broadneck team has as many as 3 kickers. So sometimes you got to make sure you get it just right.
You may have a favorite ball for each kicker. We definitely understand that. And Broadneck ready to send it down to the old gold and black. I like that old gold. There's something about that old gold. Do either of you know where that comes from? I have no idea. Maybe I need to do some research on old gold. But I'll take new gold too.
I mean, I'll take just about any gold, especially on Halloween.
The age of gold doesn't matter to any of us here in the booth. Young, old.
Absolutely. And it looks like we have to do a redo on that kick. I don't know, Chad, if, again, that's the ball. Oh.
Looked like Broadneck got out a little bit early, got an offsides call. A little anxious.
Yeah. Well, once again, we have our guy. I love this kick. It's got to be the best one I've seen this season. And down to Broadneck on that reception, new Whitley. And for Meade, we want to do an introduction, gentlemen, of Meade's offensive players tonight. And I believe we will have a graphic up very soon to display that.
Bree Hart, quarterback, class 2015.
Elijah Roberts, wide receiver, class of 2015.
Dejon Burns, left receiver, class of 2015.
Troy Brown, wide receiver, linebacker, class of 2015.
Will Huff, tight end receiver, class 2016.
Jared Wingate, left guard, 2015.
It's not on us.
Michael Cooley, center, 2016.
Hunter Defoe.
And on that carry was Chibide once again up the middle for about a 6-yard gain.
Until he ran into the hammer, Niamatalolo.
That's a name we should hear quite often tonight.
And actually, last season, late in the season, S.E.N television.com was actually at the Meade and Broadneck game at Meade, which Meade pulled off 26-20. That's the game Kyle Edwards came out, ran a few plays, then Travis Chidebe really shined, really came into his own that game and shown that this was, if there was a running back of the future for this team, he was it. Kyle Edwards ultimately regained the strength of his ankle and led Meade on that run into the playoffs. But I think that was the game that really kind of showed the crowd and showed the future of this team that hey, I'm here to stay.
And
that's something they've been able to bring forward this entire season. We see Will Schrobe getting a little over anxious on that play, anticipating the snap count, jumped off sides. That's going to be 5 yards, and it looks like enough for a first down.
Enough for a first down, absolutely.
Don't want to shoot yourself in the foot when you got a dangerous team like Meade.
That's right. They had him at 3rd down, and now they've given them the first. Hart back, 3 receivers at the bottom of your field. And it looks like a fumble. There is a fumble on the play. Coming up with the ball.
Well, I see equal parts Meade and Broadneck players pointing in their opposite directions there, and including the referee who was looking for the fumble as well.
Monet Anderson, West Fox, I got to tell you, Will Schrobe coming off of that end there. He comes off the end from the outside linebacker position, unlike very many other linebackers in the entire DMV area. We'll see him do that all night long. Again, he can blitz from there, fast enough to bring down the quarterback, even on rollbacks to the opposite side, is always adept enough to drop back into coverage and intercept passes. He's a turnover maker machine out there.
And on that snap, Hart will keep it and go straight up the field, runs into a Broadneck player, bounces off him, gets down to almost the 30-yard line.
You talk about Yak there. That's after yards after contact. Hart took about 3 or 4 hits, a couple of which were in the back of his own teammates, but he shows great tenacity. And not only is he
so that's one of the things that we may see tonight from him.
Huge after the play penalty on Meade there, though. You hate to see boneheaded mistakes really cost you. That's going to back him up 15 yards after a tremendous run.
Now, this, is, of course, is an Anne Arundel County rivalry game. These two teams, not for the faint of heart when it comes to this rivalry game. And as you mentioned, a big run like that, a big first down run like that,
right,
for Bree Hart, able to show off his talented feet there, and you get someone on the field doing something they're not supposed to be doing, a.k.a. stupid, and really bringing that big run back, nullifying what just happened.
A little Halloween trick and treating right there. That was certainly a trick that the coach is not going to provide a treat for. This Meade offense, the more that they can run directly at Broadneck, the more issues that they're going to give them.
And just looking at the offense and defense, man, as I always say, these high schoolers, there's some big boys out there.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides of the ball. Hart again in the pistol, Chibade taking the handoff, going right up the middle, not afraid at all of those big bodies I just spoke about. About 4 yards on that.
You're seeing the Meade running backs, albeit running backs and or quarterbacks, falling forward at the end of each and every run. If they can cut down on the penalties, cut down on the fumbles, they can put together a drive here.
And on the fake, Bree decides to keep that. Bree Hart decides to keep that. Ran just a little to the left and no gain on that.
Read option. Jake Skinner flew in there and met the running back in the backfield. Quarterback keeper, and he was cleaned up by Schwobe on the outside.
And you got a look there at Jordan Buck, the DN senior, made the initial contact. Big fella was not confused at all in that read option.
No, he's not. He looks like he's looking for everything that Meade's trying to give him. Hart looks like he's changing his snap count up. Again.
Calling an audible at the line.
Hart, once again, Wes, as we said, I don't know if that's just part of Hart's design to throw the defense off or what. But again, we're seeing this where it looks like he's getting ready to snap the ball and then.
Well, and what's happening over there, Monet, is that they're coming up to the line of scrimmage in that hurry-up offense, and then once the defense gets set, he looks over to the sidelines. His coaches call out a play then, and he calls the play from the line of scrimmage, which is what's taking so long. But your guy, number 70, coming up big again on that one, West Fox.
Jordan Buck, 2 plays in a row, really showing his tenacity.
And Hart again, I'm guessing at some point Broadneck realizes exactly what's going on.
4th down here. They're looking for a hard count, attempting to get Broadneck to jump off sides.
And Hart looks for his receiver, but it is knocked down. Will Schwobe. A name, as I said, we'll hear plenty tonight.
Will Schrobe coming off of that end, getting his hands up, couldn't make it to the quarterback fast enough, so he got that big 6'3" frame up in the air, knocked that pass down. Broadneck ball with an opportunity to take control of this game.
Meade, both times, both offensive sets that they've had, I've had the opportunity to get it into Broadneck territory and have come up short both times. I mean, it's basically getting runners into scoring position and not being able to get them to the plate.
Gabley getting his first carry of the evening. We saw him throw for a touchdown pass on the first time down. Gabley, again, a dual threat here. He's also carried the ball 83 times for about 461 yards. Another 8 touchdowns that way.
Yeah, haven't seen much from Gabley tonight. As we said, first play of the game was a touchdown, so we'll get a chance to see him in action. That play was to number 5, Tommy Jones. And it'll now be 3rd and 4 for Broadneck.
Jones, one of the triage of receivers that Gabley has to choose from. The senior there definitely has a knack for coming up with some big plays.
Big
And
play.
we have a flag.
Looks like it's going to be a false start on Broadneck, backing him up, making it a much more difficult 3rd down here.
Back to the 40-yard line. Now 3rd and 9 for Broadneck.
3rd and 5, far more manageable than 3rd and 9.
Absolutely.
Looking at Gabley, we see what he did last week in a huge victory, throwing for 230 yards and 4 touchdown passes in the very impressive season thus far. 23 touchdowns coming into this game, 24 now.
And Gabley is on the run. That'll take him to a 4th down.
I have to just say here, I mean, he got about 2 yards short of the first down.
Right.
There. It looks like Coach Rob Harris, not hesitant, but Gabley there showing the Jets. They're going to actually mark him down where he initially started the slide. I thought he went forward. Maybe a bad spot, but regardless.
Wow.
There we go, the push.
Wow.
Wow, nice. Nice.
Quick count, easy play. Our Bob's against your Joe's.
What an aggressive play call on that one, West Fox. You had a 4th and about 4 on that play, and you call a quarterback sneak. That's trusting your offensive line. First and 10 now, right over midfield.
Oh, wow. Snap over the head of Gabley. Tommy Jones. Tommy Jones on the recovery. What a great recovery. We thought he may have just fallen on that ball and so-called saved the play, but he did that and more.
Just as the coach drew it up, you think?
Just as the coach drew it up. I was going to say that's the best trick play we've seen all season, West Fox.
Bad snap in the shotgun. Have the wide receiver run back and kick it out for 9 yards on the wide there.
What a fortuitous bounce he got on that play.
Oh, yeah.
And we're coming up on 2nd down.
Should be a 1st down. That was a very long pickup on that play.
That was a very long. Yes.
Well, that's a situation where the coach screams fall on it. When he picks it up, says, darn it. And when he sees him turn the corner with daylight ahead of him, says, go.
He says, yes.
Absolutely.
Go.
That was a gain of 10, and it will bring it up on 1st down. Tommy Jones in motion.
Ooh. Gabley unable to make the corner on that play.
Tackle made by linebacker Raekwon McGee, senior. Probably had a few fantasies this week about hitting Gabley, just as he did, or getting his hands on him in the backfield. Thought, I'm going to do it, and I got his opportunity here in the 1st quarter.
And Broadneck. Pretty good possession for Broadneck here.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
no.
I spoke too soon. It appears that Meade has come up with the fumble.
You see Gabley looking to run a read option on that play. He wasn't sure whether he wanted to give it or whether he wanted to keep. The running back got hit right at that breach point. Ball came loose. Meade comes up with a huge turnover.
There was Ricky Smith, junior linebacker, there in the recovery, but I was about to criticize Bree Hart for the same thing earlier.
Right.
In Meade's set with that read option, just taking too long to make the decision to give it to the running back or to run it himself. Gabley there doing the exact same thing and getting himself hit by the line.
And Meade is able to take this possession on the run. Number 4, Nunu Whitley. First time we've seen Nunu tonight.
Sophomore, 5'3".
It'll be 2nd and 7. 1 minute and 51 seconds left in the first quarter.
Small guy, big run.
Hart on that funny snap count. Back in the backfield, hands off, nothing, stuffed.
And after just evaluating that play, Broadneck is really sunken in. You have 10 players within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage and one guy playing pretty much as a center fielder. Now, 2 of those guys, obviously cornerbacks, so we're out on the wideouts there, but you're talking about 8 in the box. They've really made a conscious effort to stop this running attack.
Well, again, it looks like at this point that the Broadneck corners may have their wide receivers flanked. Running right up the middle has been Meade's strong suit. There's a blitz.
And Bree Hart looking to his left, hitting his receiver, and Bree was hit as well. But his target, number 34, Will Huff.
Huff, a wide receiver, tight end, fullback, kind of a hybrid player. Part of the 3 wide receivers that Hart will have to choose from tonight. Not the most athletic guy, 6'2", 217, more of a running back style, but definitely Johnny on the spot there on that play.
And we saw Taewon Harmon coming off of that end, hit the quarterback in his blind side. Got to give Hart all the credit in the world for being able to get that ball out there. Picking up enough for the first down.
And we have trips at the bottom of your screen. Again, back in the backfield, that's number 2 with the handoff. Chibade.
Chibade brought down on that play by the hammer of this defense, Mr. Nehemiah Tololo. We got to work on that one, West Fox.
It's actually a cool name. It kind of flows off your tongue once you get it down, Chad.
That's
syllables at a surplus.
That's right. Absolutely. Hart once again trying to draw that defense. Think they're kind of on to him now. Crowd chanting, defense, looks for the screen to the right, hits his target, number 5, Troy Brown.
Speaking to the point that you made on that one, West Fox, first and foremost, to the line of scrimmage, they can throw that little screen out to the wide receivers, West Fox, where they've got them outflanked on the outside. Very effective play as we round up the first quarter.
Well, certainly a bit of a topsy-turvy first quarter, highlighted by a pump fake, 90 to 85 plus, 80
Absolutely.
plus. I'll call it an 80 plus yard touchdown pass. 82 is the number here. Getting from our stats company here, to Alex Rudin. So, any surprises from you?
Not a ton of surprises. You know, 2 huge, the turnover in which Kanan fumbled on that snap there, because this Broadneck team could have been moving down to really put this game somewhat away early.
Yeah, and I understand the read option. The more and more I learn about this sport, and especially watching some of the college teams that do it oh so well, you really make a conscious effort to be quick with that decision, not hold the ball in the running backs midsection for more than a couple seconds, because then you pretty much become Siamese twins where you go, he goes.
Yes, and it's all about the mesh point. And the other thing, I mean, the running back, you really have no control. So that back is not certain whether the quarterback's going to let it go or whether he's going to ride him and then pull it out. That play had a little contact and potentially shifted the momentum over to the Meade side.
And as we start the second quarter, Meade will begin on offense. Hart faked the throw, ended up keeping the ball. Taken down, surrounded by Broadneck.
That Hart is one tough customer. I got to tell you, on that play, it looked like as Jake Skinner came on a blitz, it looked like he had him dead to rights. He used an effective pump fake, got up in the pocket, and it ended up turning up what could have been a disaster into a positive gain on the play.
You're absolutely right, Chad.
It's the 3rd time Meade has been in Broadneck territory. They're looking to come away with points this time.
Hart taking the snap. Just a little high on the snap. And he runs it out of bounds.
Very effective play, well blocked up over on the outside.
the season were to end today, of course, these two teams would make it along with Arundel and North Point. I think Old Mill on the outside looking in.
Outside looking in.
The division is pretty much set with those 5 teams. Who winds up in the seedings could change. Broadneck in the driver's seat right now.
Absolutely, they are. That 8-0.
If you're Old Mill, you're rooting hard for Broadneck right now.
Hart handing off to Chibide. 1-yard gain on that play.
Finally, a stop made at the point of contact by the Broadneck defense.
Brian Kennedy there on the tackle. You said it. Showed no signs of falling back. And that Chibide held the tackle.
Hearing a lot of Taywan Harmon thus far in this game. He's all over the place.
Hart looking back. Got all the time in the world. Offensive line doing a great job. And incomplete.
Great job by Hart. Was able to scramble and get out of the pocket again. He took a huge hit, delivered a pass that hit Will Huff in the hands. Huff unable to come up with it, but we do have a flag on the play. Time to see exactly what the official saw.
Do we know what they may have seen on that, gentlemen?
I wasn't able to see anything.
Ineligible receiver
downfield.
Unfortunately, that's an offensive lineman's worst nightmare. Your quarterback is back there scrambling for so long. At some point, you imagine that he might be running forward, so you take a few steps beyond that line of scrimmage, you get that flag thrown on you.
And there we see it. Bree Hart, quarterback, doing a really nice job tonight.
That penalty is declined.
Bree Hart, quarterback. We see how strong he is thus far here tonight. Last game, 8 for 13, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. We see that he does not put the ball up in the air quite as much, but still an extraordinarily effective. And look at the size that this young man has.
Yeah, yeah, 6'1", 191. I see the knee brace on, but it hasn't affected his mobility tonight.
Doesn't look that way. 4th down, huge play for Meade.
Very huge play for Meade right now. He's got the time. Not seeing who he wanted to see. Throws it out of bounds. Pushed off the sideline. Nothing on that play.
Takes a run down.
Jordan Buck coming in.
21-yard line.
I mean, Hart may have done himself a little impressive there, but holding it just a little
Yes,
bit.
yes.
Montalova on the pressure for the Bruins.
No signs of any type of basically no pennies there.
Exactly. At some point, this Broadneck rush is going to get to you there. As you said, your main man got there. Nehemiah Talolo got to the play as well. Delivered a hit. Hart unable to get the ball to a receiver. He's got to make quicker decisions on that.
Nehemiah Talolo all over the field. Broadneck's ball. 1st and 10. Gibelli looks downfield, wanting to make a big play early. That was intended for number 85.
It's a beautiful pump fake again. They had him on the same play that they got the touchdown on, and Gabley had him again. That ball kind of hung on him a little bit. Surprised West Fox that we didn't see a flag thrown. Looked like there could have been a helmet-to-helmet contact.
Terry and Fort, the senior free safety for Meade, they definitely came in leading with the helmet or the crown of the helmet. A lot of surprise here from the Broadneck fans.
And 9 minutes and 37 seconds left in the second quarter. That was number 4 on the carry.
Mr. Malik Bill Watts.
3rd down.
Still looking for clarification if anyone from the Broadneck sidelines, anyone down there want to tell us why Malik goes by Bill, that would be fine by us, but Malik Bill Watts on that carry. There's a wrestler who went by that name, Bill Watts. Is that right, West Fox?
Cowboy Bill Watts.
Cowboy Bill Watts. And Gibelli looking for a receiver. Wasn't able to find who he was looking for, but there is a flag on the play as well.
You tell some friends some things in confidence, and they let the world know exactly what you said. So thank you.
Holding call.
Against the Bruins.
This is going to be backed up a little bit more. Meade brought pressure on Gabley on that play. offensive line guilty of a holding call. Be interesting to see if Meade declines it and backs him up even more.
Penalty is declined. That'll make it 4th down.
He must have kind of pushed him right quick.
Had to have gotten beat right off the line. Beat like a drummer. Wes Fox.
Punt formation for the Bruins.
That brought us up on 4th down.
Beat like an old rug.
Chibaday deep to receive for the Mustangs.
And we're going to send it down to Meade Chibaday in the backfield.
Special teams, always important.
And I believe we saw a flag on the play there.
It's a Broadneck bounce.
And they're going to field it.
If this stands, that's an excellent punch. You're able to completely flip field position.
And that's down to the 31-yard line. But as we said, there is a flag on the play.
Looks like an illegal procedure on Broadneck. They're going to have to punt this again. Always dangerous.
And just to bring up, Wes, I know you are a stat man. You love stats. Jabelli, just to mention, is the leading in passing yards in Anne Arundel Region 12.
And that's that does come at a shock considering Anthony Messenger and the Arundel offense there that's rated as one of the better ones,
Right.
in terms of statistics in the county. And that's not just this season. That's traditionally as a powerhouse offense. So that does come as a shock, but definitely kudos to that young man. Performances he's put on thus far this season.
To that point, Wes Fox, that's where you were able to find out that this Broadneck team was for real in terms of what it is that they were able to do to shut down that offense last week.
That looked like he came back and hit a meat player, number 32, Brian Fields. Fields putting his hands up as if to say, no, not me, but that ball took a sudden misdirection.
Now, what we take a look at here is we had a 5-yard penalty on an illegal procedure, which ended up costing Broadneck upwards of 25 yards on that play. Meade would have been getting the ball closer to their 30. Instead, they're on the Broadneck side of the ball for the 4th time here tonight, looking to finally capitalize.
And as you mentioned in that last game about Broadneck proving to the area that they belong, and also shut us up with the predictions. Both of us having chosen Arundel and Pickens that week.
Did I choose Arundel as well? Darn it. Darn it, darn it.
We always have to roll tape on these guys. I believe someone gets amnesia as to who they chose.
Broadneck, I had you in my heart, guys.
Is that what it is, Chad? And Meade, you know, I'm waiting to see just a little more out of him. I want to see him passing a little bit more. There he goes. Hits his target, number 10.
Very effective.
Dejon Burns on the reception.
Very effective crossing route that he threw on that play. And that pass is actually more difficult than it appears because he's got to get it not only in front of the quarterback, but over the hands of Will Schrobe, who's waiting back there. Will Schrobe has 3 interceptions this season to go along with his, I believe, 2.5 sacks. So you really got to be careful. 3.5 sacks, you got to be careful with him.
Absolutely, and Will Schrobe is also leading in sacks in the region, Chad.
Not only that, we also have to protect the receiver from not getting killed.
There we go.
And Hart looking back. The man, Broadneck was coming. Number 44, Jake Skinner.
Jake Skinner, I like to call that gentleman right there the nail of this defense. We got the hammer, the nail, and the broom. Jake Skinner, the nail, he's going to bring a ton of blitzes. They like to send him directly up the A-gap. He's very difficult to block. He's terrific moving forward and has excellent speed for his position. Jake Skinner showing up right there. That's sack number 3.5 for him on the season.
And not to discredit the fact that it's difficult to block him, but Meade didn't block him.
It looked like they had a screen set up a la this play.
Yeah, there's the screen again to number 10, Dejon Burns.
Gain of 10.
Getting Burns a little more involved here in this
Gain of
offense.
11
Meade is
30-yard line.
2 receptions there. I'm wondering if they're just
Gavin
switching
Meade
up the
tackle
personnel.
for the Bruins. 3rd down.
And that was an 11-yard gain on that for Burns, and that'll bring us up to 3rd down.
3rd and long, 3rd and 6 here. Interesting to see if Broadneck brings the pressure or if they lay back. Again, attempting to not only run the risk of drawing Broadneck off sides, but also get them to show their hands in terms of if they are bringing the blitz.
And they are, in fact.
Here they come. And Hart puts that one up there. I was a little concerned about that pass, but it was caught by number 34, Will Hart.
Excellent.
And Will is pushed out of bounds.
Excellent play call by Meade on that play. Offensive coordinator was able to see that a blitz was coming from the left-hand side. So what do? You waggle your quarterback out to the right side, run your running back hold, be in man-to-man coverage on the linebacker out into the flats. Not a beautiful pass that Hart put up, but in man-to-man coverage, he got it there, enough to pick up a first down.
I wouldn't so much call it a waggle as protect your life run like the Dickens.
Everyone spread out. No back here with him. This is almost the first time they're working back. Nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Will Schroed.
All night long. All night long. Meade decided to go for it on fourth down. And nothing.
Bo, Buck, and Skinner. There's been three names on the defensive end for this Broadneck team that we've heard that time and time again. It's like deja vu.
I'm telling you.
But they are all over.
They're all over the place, and they come aggressively off the corner.
And there's a turnover on downs. Broadneck with the ball. Gable hit number 11. Smith on the reception.
Now, West Fox, if you really look at this game, we see that Broadneck is clearly winning on the scoreboard. However, how often has this Broadneck offense actually had the ball? That Broadneck defense has been on the field all half. Broadneck offense has to look to give them a break coming into halftime.
And, you know, both teams, Broadneck has allowed 87 points from their opponents this season. Meade 109. So both defenses, you know, they let points on the board, most definitely. But tonight, we'll see who's the better of not letting as many points.
Both are stout, big 3rd and 2. And again.
So again, we've talked about it before. It's the second time it's happened. The indecisiveness of the read option. He has an opportunity. I thought, and I think Bill Watts thought that ball was handed off to him.
Absolutely, yeah.
Clinch it a little bit, just try to give it away from Gable, and cause the team to turn it.
Gabely's got to make a decision in that mesh point. He's attempting to hold it for as long as possible. He had a blitz coming off of his corner. I'm sure that he saw that if he pulled it back, he'd have been able to pick up the first down. Trust your offense. Pick up the first. Live to see another day.
And Meade, once again, offense on the field. They just left. They're back. Hart looking. Hit his target. Number 11, Elijah Roberts. On the board for 6 points.
You had to think at some point Meade getting down in the not unfamiliar territory for them tonight. That's in the Broadneck's area of the field. You know, when the roller does that many times, eventually Meade's going to put points on the board.
They spent the entire first half on the Broadneck side of the 50-yard line. And on that play, West Fox, what we saw there was a beautiful blitz pickup by the running back and tackle. Broadneck brought 2 men from their left-hand side, both an inside stunt. It was picked up, gave the quarterback time to hit that post right between the cornerback and the safety for 6 points.
And it was good coverage on the play, just a better throw and a better route.
Better throw. If we wanted to see what the Meade quarterback is able to do, we saw it on that play.
And we're into the second quarter, but we want to look at Broadneck's offense. Take a look at them on the screen. Just our players and who's out on the field. We have named them quite a bit, gentlemen. But just
Billy Borman, left tackle, 2015. Kenny Gabely, quarterback, 2015.
Ryan McNeil, right guard, 2017. Lee Watt, running back, 2015.
Andre Brown, center, 2015. Roy Tua, receiver, 2015.
Kyle Boston, right tackle, class 2016.
Kevin Smith, slot, senior.
Michael Carranza, starting quarterback, senior.
to send that down to number 35.
What's Fox? You look at a team that's 8-0, and very, very infrequently do you see an undefeated squad that shoots itself in the foot as frequently as this Broadneck team has done in the first half.
You can't turn the ball over when you're half the field. I mean, that's just simple. That dates back to that dates back to the days of 6-year-olds putting on pads for the first time.
Chris Watts. Nice return. 30 yards.
36-yard line. I think it's the 36-yard line. First and 10 Bruins at the Broadneck 38.
4 minutes left in the half. We'll see if this Broadneck offense can get it together here, potentially put together a drive, see if they can get some more points on the board.
And we just need them to hold on to this ball. And coming in motion was Chris Watts.
Gain of 10 on play to the 48-yard line.
Belly handed it off to him, and he was able to pick up pretty good yardage on that, bringing them up to a first down.
I'm curious if Coach Rob Harris figured there had a good return. You're responsible for this team. Let's get you involved somehow.
He was really feeling it, and on that play, Meade brought a blitz up the A gap, so that was dangerous. Dangerous treading, looking to cause another turnover. Fortunately, the center was able to pick that block up, get the running back out on the corner.
That's enough for Broadneck Bruins. First down.
And we are coming up on a first down for the Bruins.
Very spirited crowd that we have here, home field Broadneck.
Very spirited. Had some interaction with those fans on Twitter. Like fans that are involved. And that was Watts.
Territory.
Bill Watts.
46-yard line.
Not to be confused with Chris.
Gain of 7.
No relation as well.
Making a gain of 6.
7-yard pickup by Malik Bill Watts, leading rusher for this Broadneck team. 95 carries, 592 yards, and 6 scores on the ground coming into this game. They'll look to get him started, added separate element to this team.
And Jabelli, handoff. Up the middle, Meade defense there to stop.
Of 3 to the
Watts on the carry.
3rd and 1.
It's going to bring up 3rd and very short here. We've already seen them running a very effective quarterback sneak, and that's what they wanted to do again, but the referees had not set the ball. They had not set the ball on that play.
Gotta wait for the ref.
Broadneck faithful here, letting the men in pinstripes have it.
5-yard penalty against the Bruins.
Yeah, the refs were saying that they had not set the ball.
That's potentially a huge play. Another one. You go from picking up a first down to having a 3rd and intermediate with an offense that has struggled with turning the ball over thus far.
And Jabelli looks to his right,
His pass complete to Alec Root, out of
and
bounds.
he's able to find his target, Alec Root.
Gave a lead to Rudin on that play, but you needed 6. You ran a 3-yard route, gets pushed out of bounds. 4th down. Broadneck is gone again.
Yes, 4th and 3rd, Chad.
And again, as you alluded to earlier, this may be an opportunity to keep the Broadneck defense off the field just one play longer, if not another set of downs.
And Jabelli looking back. But it's incomplete, and there is a flag on the
Pass interference flags littering the field as Alec Rudin had a step on his man. Man then pulled him down.
Travis Shabidi on the cover.
Yeah, some people, and again, this is one of those things where do you draw the line in the sand? Pass interference, sincere contact. Travis Shabidi on the coverage there on Alex Rudin. Feet get tangled sometimes in those situations, especially when 2 men are jockeying for the position. And the position that is the open field that is in front of you, you have the right to that, whether you're offense or defense.
Bruins. First down.
I actually spoke with an official who explained this to me a little bit back in my playing days and stated that a lot of that has to do with if one man gains an actual advantage that they will throw the flag. On that play, Meade could have intercepted the pass, which is likely why they threw it.
And Gabley can keep that. Gain of 5.
Second and 5.
And it'll be 2nd and 5, Broadneck ball.
Read option there with Chris Watts. Gave me a little more decisive with the option. Put it in the breadbasket just for a little bit. Take it out to run it himself.
And how about going 4th and 3, going big up top on a post route? Huge penalty. Broadneck moving the ball.
Intended for
Gabley
balls, able to
tries
make.
to thread it between about
Third down.
3 Mustangs, intending to get it to Alec Rudin.
I think the Mustang secondary really not fooled anymore, knowing that Ruden's probably Gabriel's favorite target. Either double and sometimes triple teaming him, as we saw just there up the middle.
We'll look to see him get a couple of his other guys more involved coming up soon. Ray Toomer, that man right there, big fella, one of my favorites. That's Henry Brown, the big tight end, stands 6'2", 225 yards.
Gabley's pass completed
May have
to 15, Henry Brown.
pounds and yards.
225, 225 maybe when he was a sophomore. That looks,
He may have also had a bonehead play at the end.
There's an unsportsmanlike
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike
on
conduct
Toomer.
against the
can't signal
Bruins.
the first down in high school points, I suppose.
Wow.
It's
It's said to
Halloween,
be
Mr.
because
Official.
The players called it a first down
Hand up forward.
with the hand signal. Wow.
Completion was
She won't do that again in his high school playing days.
That'll be the officials attempting to make sure that there's no taunting going on. Henry Brown, very interesting gentleman, though. He did not play in the first few games of the season. Coming on strong as of late, 2 touchdown catches in the last 4 games. They'll look to get him involved whenever possible.
He's a big target. And there's a flag on the play.
Gabley kicks off the 30-yard line. There are multiple
He's out
flags
at the
on the field.
30-yard line.
Speaking of boneheaded plays,
Yeah, we saw the flags coming out.
This might be offset penalties there. I think it hit a hold and a late hit from Travis Cheetah.
There's our hold
Holding against the Bruins.
against Broadneck.
now since he was out of bounds on the play, though, that's going to bring up a very interesting point. Those 15 yards might be tacked on, and it may be an automatic first down. That was a dead ball foul, technically.
We're still conversing about it. We'll see in a few minutes.
Love to see officials come together to get it right.
We've seen quite a few flags on the last few series. Definitely want to get this game rolling. That'll be another 5-yard.
There we go. So we did see the call of holding, but the personal foul was indeed a dead ball foul. So they will pick up those 15 yards, and it is an automatic first down.
Personal foul, dead ball against the Mustangs. 15 yards.
Automatic first down.
Takes it forward to the 32-yard line. It's still first down. First and 8.
And there you see it, folks. We have 2 minutes and 4 seconds left in the second period.
It's a very big play. You take away what would have been a loss on the play as well as a loss of downs on the play, and you end up with a first down and in very good field position. Broadneck marching on Meade.
Jabelli.
Gabley keeps.
Gabley. Correct me, gentlemen.
Dives forward to the 28-yard line.
Gabley. Got to get
Second
some
down.
confidence involved.
Another run on Gabley on that play. He got out to the outside with the option of being able to pitch it, cut it up inside. Solid gain. Second and short.
Yeah, I look for saw that option, look for the pitch, but it wasn't a good idea. He did the best thing in keeping that ball in motion.
Malik.
There it is. Number 4. Touchdown. Broadneck. Bill Watts.
Boy, Bill's doing his thing. Yak got hit probably just at the line of scrimmage. No secondary help there. Gruden had sealed off the cornerback. Gets it to the corner of the end zone for six.
Cowboy Malik Bill Watts on that, right? That's the
Yes.
beautiful thing about that read
Absolutely,
option.
and extra point is good.
His extra point is good. The score,
And
Broadneck 14.
gentlemen,
Meade
we
7.
have Broadneck up by 7. Meade 7. And we want to take a look at the Meade defense. We called a couple of names out here during the first and second quarter, but we do want to take a look at Meade's defense.
Daniel Butler, linebacker, class of 2015.
Brian Phillips, safety, 2K15.
Travis Cheetahbay, corner, 2015.
UTOC 11, cornerback, class 2016.
Austin Iverson, cornerback, class of 2016. Ricky Smith, inside linebacker, class of 2016.
As the crowd chants, Broadneck has gone up 14-7 in this game. Right before the half, we have just a little over 2 minutes left.
Beautiful example of what the read option can do with the entire defense focusing on Kanan Gable. Handoff to Malik Bill Watts. He takes it up the gut. After that initial contact, relatively untouched, West Fox.
And that was Nunu Whitley on the return. We've seen Nunu a couple times tonight. I'd like to see Nunu. He looks like one of those speedy guys that when he gets going, he's gone.
5'3", you better have some speed.
You better have some speed. You know, we're watching this this kickoff that we see here, and I guess that the advantage of it is that the offensive team is not able to see which side the ball is going to get kicked to, but you also take a defender off the field when you use 2 kickers.
Pass complete. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line. First
And
10,
on that
Mustangs.
completion was number 11.
Karanja, the tackle for the Bruins.
Effective pass, 10-yard out on that play, picking up a first down as we begin to see this young man really throw the ball. Quarterbacking well.
Absolutely. Bree Hart in the backfield with Bree. Oh, wow.
Hard pass intended for Roberts falls incomplete.
Intended for Roberts. Incomplete pass.
Hart had his receiver wide open on that play. He had gotten behind Harmon on the play. Hart had hit a few in a row, threw that one short. He'll be thinking about that one tonight.
Yeah, would have been, could have been.
Yeah, she went good. Roberts had the beat. I mean, that was had 25 plus written all over it. The reception had come down. And,
Yeah.
You know, aside from that 82-yard touchdown pass to Gruden, this has been a series of short plays from both offenses, with Meade really dominating in time of possession.
Yes.
But sometimes I think that time of possession statistic is a little misleading, considering the fact that I know it's a madness. It's up 14 seconds.
And here we go, gentlemen, with the coach comparisons. As we can see, Broadneck and Meade. Take it over, Jim.
Broadneck, Rob Harris took over in 2011, and as a matter of fact, that's the last time that Broadneck defeated Meade to round out their 5-5 season. Meade, obviously both coaches extremely successful in their short yet stellar reigns here at both schools respectively, with Meade making a run last season all the way to the semifinals.
Right. And it showed that
Second and 10.
Holzer is 3-1 against Coach Harris.
Pass thrown almost intercepted by Michael Karanja on that play.
Coverage for the Bruins.
I think that was a gift.
Right.
That was a gift wrapped from Pick Six City.
West Fox, we know that on plays like that, they say that that's why that young man plays defense.
And I'm sure that what's on Meade's mind right now is getting down to
Got close to the first down yardage, but I don't believe he was able to pick it up. Clock is running. Tick, tick, tick. And it's 4th down. 4th down, Meade calls a timeout. It looks like they're going to talk it over, decide if they want to go for this one.
And I like the decision here from Rich Holzer. Most teams, especially at the high school level, will take a knee and say, let's just get this one, let's cut our losses, and take this one back to the locker room for halftime. 2 quick passes. You get the screen to Troy Brown and close to a first down. I know it's decision time, but I like the aggressiveness of the play call here.
Yeah, I got to tell you, so it brings up a 4th and 2. You're right at about midfield, but you're dealing with a very dangerous offense. If I'm Meade here, I punt this ball away. It looks like they're going to breathe the offense back out here on the field, but if they're stopped, then you hand Kanan Gabley the ball with timeouts and time in your field position.
So, Chad, you would have just took a knee and went on in.
I would have punted this ball. And that's why I would have punted it. Wow.
Will Huff, from the help of a few of his teammates, I believe he got that one initially. Was getting tackled by the Broadneck defensive line. Looked to be behind the line of scrimmage, but the second push got it, and then
Jake Skinner, the tackle.
they all said, well, they shouldn't have done it. And they put Al Pacino any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday or Friday night on Halloween.
That's why they call it coaching.
Had to be looking for a whistle for forward progress being stopped. I guess he kept churning his legs, and his big friends came to help him out, pushed him a little forward, picking up that first down.
That's what those big bodies are there for. Get them in when they need to get in.
I've seen him a few times as a wide on a couple of receptions, and again, he's one of the 3 leading receivers on this team. That a little more suited for his build at 6'2", 217 as a fullback. Certainly show why he's tough and gritty.
We'll see if Meade is able to get down in position to put points on the board. That will come up huge.
And kudos to Meade for their record and just their overall play this season. They graduated 32 players last year. That's big. They have a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. They brought back 7 starters on offense and defense, but that's not a lot. You know, losing 32 players is big. A lot of players coming up, moving up from the JV level. So kudos to Meade for standing where they're standing in the Anne Arundel County Region 12 division.
And we get an encroachment on Broadneck, so moving Meade 5 more yards deeper into Broadneck territory.
And we have trips to the top of the screen for Meade. Hart looking back, anxious. Intended for number 34. He was surrounded by Bruins.
Hart took another huge shot on that play, showing terrific courage to sit in the pocket and deliver a pass. Tipped away and almost intercepted again.
Tip made by Brian Kennedy in the secondary. Laid out for that one.
Yes, he did.
Beautiful play there by the young man.
It's 2nd and 5 now. 3 minutes and 53 seconds to go.
Decimal points in a different place, 35.3 seconds.
Sorry, check that. Again, Hart went big and was able to hit his guy, number 11, Roberts.
Elijah Roberts showed a big frame, able to box out the defender, Karaja, go up and get that ball. Karaja's got to be able to knock that ball down. Don't go for the interception, just get a hand on it.
And Hart running left. Out of bounds on that one.
Pass sails out of bounds, incomplete. 2nd down.
I know Hart is anxious to make this happen in the next 20 or so seconds here. Well, 14 seconds on the clock.
Smart play on Hart. Get out of bounds. He was rolling to his left, not as comfortable for a right-hand passer to throw the ball, so he just broke the tackle box, got it out of bounds. Another chance to run another play.
Very exciting. Hart under center. Looking to his left to Chibadin.
Travis Chidabe turning wide receiver into a free safety.
And yeah.
So they're basically giving himself the opportunity just to hit the ball down and avoid an interception, which likely, I won't say definitely, but likely could have been a pick six.
Correct, because they had the whole house over there. Not too many people were fooled on a play-action bootleg with 10 seconds left in the half.
3rd and 13 here. I guess this is a situation where they pick their first down or touchdown with 13 seconds left. Going for the house.
There's a flag down.
Too much on that, but it's a flag down.
I thought that was good coverage there by
a flag down. You know, had it been the NFL, I certainly would have called illegal contact. He did get one hand on the receiver as that ball was in the air.
But it's got to go both ways. Now, I felt that Roberts had an illegal use of hands, or which could have been offensive pass interference in the play that got him to that original spot.
Pass interference against the Bruins takes it half the distance.
Questionable calls. I won't say definitely, but I don't disagree, but maybe a little room for discussion.
You're not saying, you're just saying? West Fox, we know how football goes nowadays. It's the rules favor the offense.
Yes, they do.
Huge play coming up.
And Meade going with the field goal. As the crowd chants. And the field goal is blocked.
There we go.
Attempt is blocked by the Bruins. They'll go into the half. Broadneck 14. Meade 7.
Huge block field goal. Unable to see exactly who got their hands on that play, but that's the type of momentum swing that you want going into the half.
Obviously, Coach Rich Holzer looking for a few more points, 3 to 6.
Bruins welcome to the candidates for state-elected offices who have joined us tonight in support of our Broadneck Bruins. While learning more about our newly launched McMullen Fieldhouse renovation project. They've been out the door, haven't been able to get in. Since then, the Broadneck High School student population
all night long.
Yeah, definitely. Wes, I agree. The attempt by Hart to march his team down the field and get into that end zone was a great attempt by him. Although coming up short going into the half. Chad made some predictions as to what he would have done with this play, with this entire series, marching down the field. However, Meade is not able to get it in. Mustangs come back, second half, talk about it, put the points up on the board. Gentlemen, going into the second half, what do you say?
Looking at the first half, the way that it was, this Meade offense has moved the ball progressively, especially when going directly at Broadneck. They've been able to potentially put points on the board, but they get down and then the offense stalls.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wes, did you want to add anything?
I understand that they're down, and they had an opportunity to put points on the board. No time District 30. If you're going to take anything from it, you have to say you cannot get the door again this entire first half.
Absolutely. Well, folks, that was our first half. We will come back for more exciting football between the Mustangs and the Bruins right after.
For the best selection of your school's sports and fan gear, visit PrepSportswear.com. Shop from leading brands like Adidas, Nike, Russell Athletic, and Champion. Sign up today for 10% off your first order. PrepSportswear.com. Your team, your gear, your way.
Coach Donald Davis from Calvert Hall, you are watching S.E.N. Now back to you.
For the best selection of your school's sports and fan gear, visit PrepSportswear.com. Shop from leading brands like Adidas.
This is Kareem McDonald. You're watching S.E.N. television.
Out here, there are no cheat codes. No avatars, no magic stars. This does not require an operating system or a username or password. There are no hashtags, no emoticons. And chances are, there will not be better versions of these games coming out next year. This holiday season, give something meaningful. Give the gift of sport.
National Football Foundation's National High School Scholar Athlete, my opportunities all began at Broadneck High School. We now have an amazing and much needed opportunity to support the renovation campaign for the McMullen Fieldhouse. Please join me in supporting the kickoff of the Fieldhouse of Dreams campaign. Go Bruins!
And now for your halftime entertainment. The Broadneck Dance Company doing their Thriller presentation.
Save. 35th minute. Kenny Gardner picks up the pass there, the errant pass, does a little razzle-dazzle right through the teeth of the defense, and the shot, Daniel Kraft comes through with the slide tackle on the big save. 37th minute on the throw-in. Messiker Wingate, little move here, the cross, and Adam Schaffner with the finish. Nifty header. Severna Park goes up early, 1-0. Second half, 6th minute. Severna Park still pressuring. Pasquale once again off the header. Nifty little move. Left footer goes just wide. 9th minute here. Daniel Kwan, body brings it down. Gets the advantage. Passes it off to Wingate. Wingate one-timer, and Basilio comes up with the save. 1 minute later, Kenny Gardner with the chip. And Magorka comes through, ties the game up for Arundel 1-1. 15th minute, Schaffner with the side foot, just wide. 1 minute later, beautiful through ball. Kwan this time with the left foot. Basilio once again coming big. 30th minute, after a bad corner on the redirect, Magorka stuffs it. Severna Park wanted a handball on that, would not get it. He dishes it off. Josh McRobbie, one touch, five hole, beats the keeper, and Arundel goes up 2-1. 1 minute later on the throw-in, Magorka, Johnny on the spot here, lets it fly, and the woodwork denies him. On the corner kick here for Severna Park, Daniel Reese with the header save. Pinballs, Daniel Kwan ties it up, or at least he thought he tied it up. You look at the side official there, he's got the flag up for the offsides. 2-1 still for Arundel. Later on, Garner with the steal. 1v1, keeper comes way out of the box. And this is the game changer, red card. Referee's explanation, the ball would have gone in if the keeper did not intentionally stop it. So Severna Park played with 10 men. Later on the corner, Magorka, header, gets it over the keeper. That puts the final nail in the coffin. Arundel takes Severna Park 3-1. They move on, and they will meet Chesapeake and Arundel County on Thursday.
My name is Ephraim Moore, and you watching S.E.N. television.
For the best selection of your school's sports and fan gear, visit PrepSportswear.com. Shop from leading brands like Adidas, Nike, Russell Athletic, and Champion. Sign up today for 10% off your first order. PrepSportswear.com. Your team, your gear, your way.
Coach Donald Davis from Calvert Hall, you are watching S.E.N. Now back to you.
For the best selection of your school's sports and fan gear, visit PrepSportswear.com. Shop from leading brands like Adidas.
This is Kareem McDonald, and you're watching S.E.N. television.
Out here, there are no cheat codes. No avatars, no magic stars. This does not require an operating system or a username or password. There are no hashtags, no emoticons. And chances are, there will not be better versions of these games coming out next year. This holiday season, give something meaningful. Give the gift of sport.
Art Walker, the head coach, Green Valley Ranch Giants. The organization has been in existence for 16 years, and they're located on the north side of Denver, the inner city.
Well, we got a group of characters. You know, they like to have fun. And
oh, too much fun. So much fun.
Myself, him, and Dion played at CU. Played at CU, played with the Philadelphia Eagles, played with the Dallas Cowboys as well.
I coached Oklahoma State once upon a time, and then Little League, I just decided to start all over because I had my son, but I want to make sure that he comes up the right way.
We get reports on the kids, how they're doing in school. If it's a bad report or so, we take care of it on the field. If it's a good report, we praise the kids. It's not just about football. We're teaching them life lessons on the field and off the field.
is the matter? Have they played two really good teams, or perhaps they were a little overrated?
What's up? This is DeAndre Payne. You're watching S.E.N. television.
You are listening to Psychotics.
This kid's got elite speed.
Manning was actually one of my favorite guys at the camp. But do I believe Adam McClain can do it? 100%.
Name E from Moore. I'm Tremaine Stott, and you watching S.E.N. television.
Changing the face of high school sports, S.E.N.
And to start the third quarter, the score, Broadneck 14, Meade 7. The Bruins will receive the second half kickoff. Deep for Broadneck, number 35, Chris Watts.
Welcome back, fans. As we start the third quarter, I have my two colleagues with me, as Chris, Wes, and Chad. They're all ready to kick off this second half.
Third quarter, or you could say start of the second half, just a quarter after 8:15. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, pretty classic. I think we're going to start for a long game.
I agree.
And our cameraman seems to have been completely duped there on that situation.
Onside kick. That's a big one.
Yeah, it was. And they're conversing about
He seems to be
the
conversing
onside kick.
with the players more than his other officials. Explain to Coach Rich Holzer there exactly what the call is. But what did you think about that play call right out the gate there?
It's aggressive. Very good opportunity to catch Broadneck off guard, but the situation was, though, that the ball did not travel 10 yards, so we got an illegal touch. That's going to be a penalty, giving Broadneck the ball on a short field.
Remnants or memoirs of the Saints Colts Super Bowl there when they elected to do that little trick play, that little trick onside kick to start the second half, and it played into the Saints' favor.
And first and 10, Broadneck on the 49-yard line.
And what did Sean Payton say? He was 51-49 about making that specific call.
Bill wants the ball carrier to the 48-yard line.
And that's about a 1-yard
Second
gain.
and 9.
Second and 9, Broadneck.
Malik Bill Watts picking up a yard on that play. Found out at halftime that he actually was suspended for that first quarter. He was late and or missed an offensive team meeting, so that's why he didn't get too many touches. Of course, had the huge touchdown run in the second half, though.
See it time and time again, the disciplinary actions with some students. Hopefully you learned his lesson. Going long there.
And there's the pick. Number 4. I'm sorry, that's number 2. Chividay.
We've seen him a few times there on the defensive end. I'm not so sure if that was his machine his coverage as it was an underthrown ball by Gabley.
Gabley definitely did not get as much air under that ball as he would have wanted to. Excellent coverage in the fact that he was staying step for step with his wide receiver. These Broadneck wide receivers are big. They've got great size, but that ball was not thrown far enough out to give them an opportunity to make a play on the ball.
And Chividay, great player on both sides of the ball, as we're seeing.
Seeing him show up, of course, a very potent job running the ball in the first half, coming up with a big play on the defensive side this one. Broadneck's third, I believe, turnover of the evening, West Fox.
And Watts, number 4. Speedy guy there, isn't he?
Little Nunu Willie again, getting him involved in the Meade Mustang offense. You know, he's one of those guys, and he's probably been preferred or compared to his entire life.
Darren Sproles.
Young man, at that size, you have to bring something to the table that's completely unique. It seems like he fits the mold with that speed.
And wearing the same colors as Darren Sproles has worn in his lifetime as well.
Finding ways to get the ball in his hands. Another effective run by Chividay. He's everywhere on the field.
Chividay and Whitley, two-headed monsters. And here we go with the comparisons, gentlemen. Big shoes to fill.
Kyle Evans, of course, was Meade's star running back last season. As I mentioned, the game that we covered in Broadneck last year, Evans played the first couple offensive sets, had an ankle injury, decided he couldn't go anymore. Chividay filled in greatly and is taking it. As you see here, another big run, gets down to the sideline, picks up the first down and then some. That game, I really think propelled him. And check that. That was actually Trayvon Dix. As I mentioned, that game propelled him into what would become a fabulous senior year this year for this Meade Mustang offense.
Effective job of running horizontal until he got to the edge, able to outrun the Broadneck defenders to the corner, got it and picked up 13 yards.
Meade Mustangs must have had a hell of a, check that, heck of a talk. I was thinking Halloween, hell, heaven, you know, heck of a talk in that locker room because they have come out explosive.
Coming out on fire, moving the ball into the red zone now. Opportunity to put some more points on the board to tie this game back up. But West Fox, this is where this offense has stalled a few times here this evening. They've been in the red zone, haven't been able to finish off drives.
I've said it once, I've said it a few times. They've been at the door, but haven't been able to get in the house.
Broadneck's defense seems a little sleep coming out in the second half. And a run by number 21 for Meade, Londell Montgomery. First time we're seeing him tonight.
You know, and that's interesting. That's the first time we saw Trayvon Dixon, the first time we saw Londell Montgomery in the first offensive set for Meade here in the second half, using some different personnel and some different looks. I understand, you know, at some point in the game you had to get some of these guys involved, but I think it's interesting that you used them both here. First time around.
And interesting because you know that it's not for refreshing points of view since they are just coming out of halftime.
That's right, and sometimes you have to dig a little deeper in that depth chart when things aren't going the way you want them to go. And as you just saw, number 21, Londell Montgomery in the end zone. Londell is a sophomore. Running back, also plays some linebacker, 5'11", 180 pounds, and as we can see, he can get it done.
Second touch of the game, tackle and guard there made a hole that you could have throw a mini plow through. And, you know, second touch of the game, first touchdown for him.
Impressive.
Finally, we see this Meade offense turning those turnovers into points on the board. Looks like with an opportunity to tie it up if this extra point is good.
And is better than nothing, I will say, on this drive for me. So that takes us to 14-13. Broadneck still ahead by 1 point.
It's a huge game. We're seeing two very talented teams out here moving the ball and moving the ball. On one side, on the Meade side of the ball, we're seeing a ton of penalties that are hurting them. On the Broadneck side of the ball, the offense turning the ball over, continuously placing their defense on a short field. Finally, we're seeing it begin to catch up to that defense, the Meade offense taking advantage.
And the Meade sideline, they're pumped up.
To receive for the Bruins.
And by all means, they should be. They came out and did what they needed to do, took it down the field, punched it in for a score, and now Broadneck is going to try to answer.
Not that far of a travel for this Meade Mustang fan base, about 20 to 25 minutes down the road, just up 97 motorways. So certainly, and especially in this area, you have a bundle of schools in the 4A ranks that are really close. Severna Park being another one just up the road here from Broadneck. Glen Burnie just up the road. Old Mill just up the road. And Arundel as well. All these schools of the 4A ranks. Just to give you a little sociology lesson of the population here in the area.
West Fox, does this happen to be your neck of the woods?
No, not at all. I work around here.
Yeah, you have a little bit of knowledge there going on.
Well, I will say that my time here at S.E.N has allowed me the opportunity to learn the schools in the area.
That's right.
We had the opportunity to be at 2 Meade games last season. Their loss to Old Mill and their victory over Broadneck. Oh, and their friend here.
Wow.
Broadneck returns the ball off 11 yards to
On the return was number 32 for Broadneck.
Dakota Saya on the return for the Bruins. First and 10, Broadneck at midfield.
It'll be first and 10, Broadneck. Pretty good field position for Broadneck.
As I alluded to last season, we watched that Meade defeat of Old Mill. Old Mill ran the table in the regular season, going 10-0 before falling to Arundel in a mini upset in the first round. That was a very talented Old Mill team, and as I mentioned again, prior to the Broadneck defeat of Arundel last week when we were predicting that game, I said be forewarned, sometimes the wins in the regular season don't matter in the playoffs.
Right. And second and 7 for Broadneck.
That's actually the second time as this Meade team knocked off that squad in the playoffs the previous year as well. Great run on that play.
Yeah, Bill Watts
again the ball carrier. Gain of 4.
Great tackle there.
Gain of 5 to the 42-yard line. Third and 2.
Darian Fort, the free safety, he was the gentleman in the first quarter that we thought may have had an illegal comment or illegal
right.
But coming up to the line of scrimmage there, he made a big tackle for Bill Watts.
We're seeing a different element to this Broadneck offense now that Bill Watts is back in there running the ball.
And it'll be third down, Broadneck. Handoff.
It's going to be close.
Meade all
Once
over.
again the ball carrier, gain of 3 to the Meade 39.
Line to get looks like about the 38. It depends on the spot, and they are going to get the first down.
Wrapped up initially by James Williams. Williams did a good job of initial contact, not letting Watts go any further, but unfortunately that distance got the first down.
Strong, powerful run by Bill Watts. Again, this run and attack is taken off, and if we keep in mind, West Fox, this offense, of course, had the 2 fumbles on the read option in that first quarter. Bill Watts not in the ball game at that point, so the fake was going to a backup running back. Could have been what led to the confusion on those plays.
And there's a timeout, Broadneck.
Timeout, Broadneck. Their first charge timeout in the second half.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, this may be an opportunity for Coach Rob Harris to say, look, Meade just came back, almost tied it up, and excluding the extra point to say, we got them where we want them. We're not necessarily close to where we want them. We're pushing. We got a good offensive set. Let's not make any foolish mistakes. Let's call timeout and gather the troops.
Absolutely. Let's not do anything that leads to another turnover, what would be a fourth of the night. If they keep moving the ball forward, they'll get points on the board. They've shown that. Without shooting themselves on the foot, they'd have a lot more than 14.
Excellent observation, Chad. Fortunately for him, Meade was not able to capitalize
First
on
and
the
10
turnover.
at the Meade 38.
But Meade has managed to keep themselves in the game. Like we said, two really good football teams here. Both of them finding ways to get it done. There's a handoff to Watts. Makes it down to the 20-yard line.
Second carry, and both of them swings, and both of them get it back.
Chris Watts showing excellent speed once he gets out there on the corner. He's a dynamic young fella. You like to see gentlemen like him used all over the field, so he's returning kicks, at times returning punts, and getting the ball like that out in open space.
Yes, and this will bring up a Broadneck first down.
Look for a play action and post route eventually here.
Handoff.
Oh.
Second time in the evening, found the end zone, and what a great read there by Gabley. You guys missing me. A great read there. Held it for a split second, but decided the outside rush was a little too much pressure for him to handle, and Bill Watts took care of the rest.
Again, what a difference this offense has turned into once Watts has entered the game. His second touchdown, bringing him up to a total of 8 for the season. Who knew that Malik Bill Watts was the difference maker?
And you have to go back to it. I won't necessarily say that the thing that got him in the end zone, but may have calmed the nerves a little bit with a timeout there by Coach Rob.
There we go.
Understanding that they were in enemy territory, and rally the troops, calm everyone down, get everyone on the same page, and put 6 up on the board.
Yeah, we're looking at a 21-13 game. Broadneck on top. They managed to keep this lead in the game.
Now it's been here. Meade, of course, has been able to keep it down to a one-possession game. Broadneck unable to extend beyond this thus far. It'll be interesting to see what the Meade offense does, especially if Broadneck can pin them down deep for once, as opposed to getting the ball at midfield, which this Meade offense has gotten frequently here this evening.
If you're Broadneck, I think this might be a good opportunity, as you mentioned, to get a quick 3 and out and get Meade's defense back on the field. Something we haven't seen thus far.
Yeah.
It may be an opportunity to really wear them out and see what they're made of.
And I think on both sides of the ball, both teams have done such a great job of possession on the offensive side of the ball and running down the clock. I will say that. They may not have been able to punch it in on every possession, but definitely running down that time and trying to keep the other team's offense off the field.
Certainly a chess match here. A chess match of heavyweight proportions.
Good kick coverage, staying in the lanes on that time by Broadneck. I got to tell you, I'm a little bit surprised thus far that we have not called the name of Jake Skinner as frequently tonight as I did plan on it. Jake Skinner had an excellent game last week. What he did was, with shutting down that offense, he had 5 tackles for loss in that single game last season. That's major.
And you not only tip the cap to him, but that entire Broadneck defense.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think anyone outside of Broadneck and the friends and family of Broadneck fan base expected that 14-point drubbing.
Correct.
Of a very powerful and a highly explosive offense.
And hard again. Looking to his left. Wow. Nice run. Troy Brown.
Huge play. Wide receiver screen out there. You get him out there. You got trips to one side. So once the pass is out there, the cornerbacks are outflanked. You make 2 blocks, and you get yardage down the field. Safety makes a tackle to save a touchdown.
And Brown, obviously, with the catch there, made a good initial move to get the cornerback off of him. Without that, if he makes the open field tackle, it's a 1 to 2 yard gain. Maybe instead we get about a 25 to 30 yard gain.
And hard again. I gotta say, this count he does. Cracks me up. I like it. Wow. Wow. And one more wow.
It's turned into a bit of a track meet.
Yes,
here.
it has.
Bree Hart outrunning the entire secondary, split the difference there of Broadneck. I saw one white jersey. That happened to be Bree Hart and about 4 or 5 Broadneck jerseys. And he just did what God gave him. That's run.
He accelerated, pushed down on the gas pedal, and left Broadneck in the dust. This Meade team came to play here tonight.
Yes, they did. Absolutely. 6 more points.
And they're going for 2 on this play, looking to tie this game up. And they won't be going for too long.
Yeah. They won't be going for 2. TWO.
There we go. There we go.
Took me about 4 or 5 seconds to pick up the alliteration.
I was a math major at JMU, West Fox. I wasn't. It's not true.
A math major with
Right.
a mouth. Imagine that.
I knew it was coming from these two sooner or later.
Surprisingly, they're keeping the offense out there on the field.
I don't see this too often. First of all, I haven't seen too many offsides on extra points or 2-point conversion. When they happen, I don't see them go for 2 that much longer.
Hart.
Questionable play call.
Again, if that was a 4th and 1 or a 3rd and 2, that may have been a good play call, but a 7-yard 2-point conversion, not too sure what they were going for.
As we saw Emmett Davis, number 12, come up and make a very good tackle in the open field. You got to wonder, West Fox, if that was the play that was initially called, like you said, from the 2-yard line, because that gets you in at the 2, but it doesn't get you in from the 7.
Again, great tackle there by Emmett Davis. I'm wondering if Coach Rich Holzer was going to roll the dice and say, we're going to run the same play call, but Will, it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
Do your thing, stiff armor, maybe just beat him to the punch and get outside.
Very
Davis showing great poise there with the open field tackle.
Very frequently, that is the case. I'll take my best athlete, put him against your athlete, and bet that my guy wins. Excellent open field tackle on that play.
And 21-19. Still again, Broadneck manages to hold on to this very small lead in the game.
It's infrequent that you see a coach, West Fox, go for 2 this early in the ball game, especially as both offenses kind of get rolling here. You more so think that if you keep playing, eventually you'll get those points. Now you put yourself in a position in which a 1-possession game, if Broadneck scores a touchdown with an extra point, it turns into a 2-possession game instead of just 1. 9-point lead instead of 8.
Yeah, interesting play call on that one. And back on that reception was number 32.
38-yard line, no return. First and 10, Broadneck. Bruins 38.
I'm wondering if he was ready for that. I mean, that was a bullet coming right at him. And usually those type of players that are set up on the kickoff return are coached to block, not necessarily receive.
Showed great hands on the play. Awareness. Kanan Gabley coming back out.
Broadneck offense will take over.
I think if you're Rob Harris, you got to get into the hands of this guy, Watts.
And that was sort of a shuffle pass to the left to Bill Watts.
Well, he's lucky that Watts has the hands he does, because that was pretty quick and up towards the face mask.
Yeah. Get out there and run a little option to the left-hand side. It didn't look like Bill Watts had as much separation from Gabley as Gabley anticipated as that pitch came in hot and heavy to him. Good job handling it by Watts. Ooh.
And on that run, number 5, Tommy Jones.
Third down.
Tommy Jones stuffed in the backfield. That's going to bring up 3rd and long. Momentum slightly on the Meade side. I don't know that Broadneck wants to have to punt this ball away without picking up at least 1 first down.
Another great defensive play by Fort there, the free safety, getting up towards the line of scrimmage. I understand he's a free safety. He's going to be called upon to get back in coverage sometimes, but it looks like he's comfortable up around the front of the teeth of that Broadneck offense.
Huge 3rd and 8. See if the Broadneck wide receivers can win the one-on-one battles here.
Yep, we have trips at the bottom of the screen for Broadneck.
had Rudin again.
85, Rudin.
He had Rudin again.
Gabley's pass intended for number 85.
Alex Rudin knocking at the door for a second touchdown reception. He had the defender beat there. Gabley, a lot of time.
Space and opportunity.
Punt formation for the Bruins.
Win play action, Alec Rudin able to get a step on his defender, 2 steps on his defender actually. Gabley will want that pass back. Should have been 6.
Yeah, and in that event, Broadneck will send it away to Meade.
Special teams, the punt game, often where you see high school games turn.
And sending it down out of bounds.
See where that gentleman stops walking.
Hanning's punt goes out of bounds after 24 yards.
And Chividay was down there to receive, as we said, doing a lot on both sides of the ball tonight. He is.
He's a heck of an athlete, and for good reason. I mean, big shoes to fill, as we showed the Kyle Evans graphic, rather. You know, he plays both sides of the ball. He's going to get see about 80% of the snaps, and it's you know, Rich Holzer has a lot of faith in this young man.
Yes, as he should.
And it's my understanding that that we're at a huge turning point at this game here. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Meade able to get a score last time. If they can get a score this one, they can take the lead and control of this ball game.
It'll be a big turnaround in the game. And split backs in the backfield with Hart. Hart again. Not fooled by Broadneck's defense in the handoff.
There's the blitz.
And on that carry was number 4.
Skinner on the initial hit for the Bruins.
Taywan Harmon back there, but my main man Jake Skinner came in on the blitz. The nail getting in, delivering a blow with another tackle for loss.
You've been waiting for Skinner, Chad.
I thought Whitley was initially tackled. Was able to get that arm on the ground.
And
No
Hart
yards to gain.
handing off to Chividay. He picks up 1 yard on that play.
It's going to place Meade into a position of 3rd and long. We've seen Hart make a couple of huge throws on 3rd and long here. One thing they're going to want to do if they want to have success is get somebody to block Will Schroeb.
And we see another new face in the game. Rodney Lucas, number 20. The back in the back with Hart. Hart removes the tackle. Looks down the field and it's incomplete to 34.
Taywan Harmon on the coverage for the Bruins.
Great pressure there.
Fourth down.
Almost had him. Pretty hard showing why he's the player that he is. But great coverage there by Broadneck and a great 3 and out for his defense. They needed that.
It's a very important 3 and out. You'll give the ball back to Gabley in this offense. Hopefully he, as well as Mr. Bill Watts, can go get you some points. Will Schroeb coming off of that corner again, one of the most dangerous outside linebackers in the game of football. And what I hear, Wes Fox, is that football is not even that young man's best sport.
That's dangerous.
He's a huge and big-time volleyball player, so much so that he did not even play football last season. His father is the head volleyball coach over at George Mason. There's thought that he'll play that as opposed to football in college.
Isn't that something?
Well, you know, if you need a field goal or an extra point block, you gotta come in behind the line.
Put him there.
Let him get up. Yeah.
Put him there. He's an athlete. He's an athlete.
Yeah, and not often do you hear of their second sport being volleyball.
The only one I can think of was Arizona basketball player and former NBA guy, I believe he's overseas now, is Jake Buttinger. Was a big volleyball guy at Arizona. Was probably his better sport, but you know, you do the math.
You do the math.
You know, we know where the money is.
You do the math.
Absolutely. And we're going long downfield to number 3, Roy Toomer. Covered by number 7 for Meade.
Second down.
Gabley looking for a Toomer on that play. Broadneck wide receiver was able to get a clean release off the line, had a step. There's no safety help over top for these cornerbacks, so if Gabley can connect, they'll put up 6.
Rob Harris electing to go guns out here in the second half. That's the second time they've had a guy beat.
And that's a stuff and a stop.
And it's all probably predicated by the play of this line in Bill Watts.
Bill Watts.
These wide receivers have that opportunity to beat the people in coverage. You had to respect it. You had to put people in the box to block it or to tackle a guy like that.
You are absolutely right. We've seen Bill Watts gash this Meade defense a couple of times, so you drop your linebackers down, bring your safety closer to the line, but Broadneck's going to stretch you out with the wide receivers, so it leads to one-on-one.
And Belly is taken down.
Gabely sacked on another play. He had time, but a receiver could not get open as the Meade defense starting to stiffen.
Tackle made there, or sack rather, made by James Williams. Gabely pump fake 2 or 3 times. Probably wasted a little too much time doing that instead of getting out of the pocket. Williams seizing the opportunity.
Right.
Haven't seen Gabely as able to run as previously in the season. Again, almost 500 yards coming into this game. He's been relatively bottled up in terms of that part of his game.
And that brought us up on 4th down. They had to punt it away.
If you go by the statistics, then you would say he's due. But perhaps you're right. The Mustang defense definitely up to the task of the legs of Caleb Gabely.
I know that it was one of the keys of the game that you pointed out for this Meade defense, and one of the keys of the game that I pointed out for this Broadneck offense, that a lot was going to be focused around what Kanan Gabely was able to do here this evening. You take away the first play in which he hit a big-time touchdown pass, he's been relatively silenced. The rest of the Broadneck points have come off of the legs of Bill Watts. Looked like a false start.
Yep, there we go. There's the whistle.
Meade right tackle got a little anxious. He saw the blitz coming.
False start. Mustangs. 5-yard penalty. Takes it back to the 37-yard line.
And gentlemen, Wandell Montgomery, who we saw not too long ago get into the end zone, is a top sprinter on the track team.
Indoor or outdoor, do you know?
I don't know, West Fox.
Maybe a little bit of both.
He's running outdoor tonight.
Yes, indeed.
Shebang bang.
As Hart is hit on the screen.
Hart's pass complete. Gain of 4 to the 41-yard line.
That's Troy Brown picking up 4 yards on that play.
And you've chimed in a few times about how many hits Hart's taken. He's like a pro wrestler tonight.
He is taking shots, and he's taking them to the midsection, the rib area. Will Schroeb, got to be careful. He came on a blitz up the middle, was close to being late on that hit. You don't want to pick up an additional 15 yards.
Hart looking back, going down the middle. Could not hold on to that. Dejon Burns.
This is a great pass on a post pattern to Burns. Receiver getting inside in between the corner and the safety. Another very good pass by Hart. His receiver's got to help him out there.
Yeah, he's got to make that catch. If it touches the phalanges, got to make that catch. Although,
that's
what
I
it could have
think.
been on the end of the phalanges. So
I think that's in the football textbook too.
Right.
Touches the phalanges, got to be a catch.
I'm happy that we're saying phalanges. 3rd and long here. Will Schroeb, Jake Skinner.
in motion. Luna Whitley. Hart opts to keep it. And there's a pile up.
And the Broadneck defense has stiffened again.
4-yard gain on that, down to the 45-yard line.
Initial contact made by Nuima Talolo on that tackle. He was able to get in there, get his nose in. He didn't finish him off, but he slowed him down enough for his team to bring the cavalry.
And as we can see on the clock, it's running down. 3rd quarter coming to an end. 21-19. Broadneck still in the lead.
Enough time for Meade to definitely get this ball into Broadneck territory, get a play or 2 off if they were to rush, not in their DNA. Actually, they're going to punt. My apologies. Taking all the time that they can.
Yeah.
It's a very impressive punt.
Yes, it is. And that was fair caught by number 12.
26-yard punt.
Same gentleman we saw make that great open field tackle on the 2-point conversion.
Mr. Davis.
Exciting 3rd quarter we've had thus far.
Absolutely, Chad. Meade came out of the tunnel, as I like to say, and they punched it in, did what they needed to do. Broadneck looking a little lackadaisical.
At points, now they did put it in the end zone themselves in the third quarter.
True indeed.
Bill Watts.
Watts on the carry. Pick up a 5 yards on that.
That's going to wind down the third quarter. And we're going to enter this fourth quarter. I'm going to tell you, you know, in the pick'ems that we've done and trying to compare and contrast with the analytics of the game, we thought that the common opponents, the one that stood out was the Old Mill game, in which they pretty much handled Meade and Broadneck had beat them. You figured, yeah, you know, but if you thought that there was going to be that kind of game, I think you may have gotten ahead of yourselves. This was going to be another County showdown.
Correct.
Yes, indeed, West Fox, and we're going to take it to a quick commercial break.
Enter onto the track or playing
What's up? This is DeAndre Payne. You're watching.
Back with Broadneck on the offensive side of the ball. Pass off to handoff to, well, call that a shuffle. Was that a, you know, my eyes got a little confused on that one.
Option there. Gabley understood that he was going to get mollywopped by Troy Brown. If he didn't get it off Bill Watts, but then he was eventually met by Brian Fields, wide receiver free safety, gaining about 2 or 3 on the play.
West Fox, I love you more and more every day.
Yeah, mollywop, one of my favorite words. One of my favorites.
I can't take credit for that entirely. He sat across the desk. Amazing.
Jim Belly able to connect with Rooted. At the 44-yard line.
It seems like with Alex Rudin, it's almost like when you sleep on him, when you forget that he's a part of this offense, they make a play call designed specifically for him.
Effective route runner, excellent hands, looks very effective on tape, but even more impressive here in person. Very good to see Kanan Gabley come up with a huge third down pass as well.
Picks up some needed yards into Meade territory.
Watts was anxious to get down the field.
7 seconds.
Comes as an excellent point in time to be able to connect on that pass and then get Watts over on the edge again, because this Meade defensive front is beginning to look stout as they shut down Bill Watts here in the third quarter.
I totally agree with that. And Jabelli obviously keeping it, and he's going to get a face mask call on that.
They grabbed Kanan's face mask on that play. That should be 15 yards.
I believe that's going against Raekwon McGee.
Right, pretty blatant.
Personal foul.
You have to, I won't say shake your head, but as you feel McGee to be infinitely frustrated because you met him in the backfield. You had the opportunity to bring him down for no gain or maybe a small gain, if any, and then for the face mask and give them the first down.
And all the credit in the world going to the game planning for this Meade defense, because they have effectively shut down Gabley, shut down his running game, and really limited him in the pass. So it hurts to have a penalty such as that bring it back.
You have to wonder if Bill Watts wasn't on your team, where would you be as a Broadneck team
That's right.
tonight with Meade really focusing on the running game?
That's right.
Caleb Gabley.
That's right. Looking for Broadneck to go play action on a first down pass at some point here.
And Gabley looking for his players to get set. Wow, did you see that stuff?
Darian Ford, he called his name 2 times tonight. He's been heat-seeking whoever has the ball around the line of scrimmage or swing around that.
Bill Watts picked up 4 yards before he ran into that heat-seeking missile on that play.
It was like a brick wall.
Excellent defensive play as we.
Gabley in the pistol. Pitch to Watts, and he's going to pick up the first down.
Watts again to carry a gain of 6 to the 19-yard line. That's enough for Broadneck Bruins.
He was met head-on by linebacker wide receiver Troy Brown, who we've called a few times on the offensive end, and pushed Troy about 3 or 4 yards for his troubles.
Yes, he did. He took a lick the last time. He was determined to deliver the blow on that carry right there. As we see Bill Watts getting stronger. The sound of any great tailback, he gets stronger as the game moves forward.
And as the regular season winds down, gentlemen, Broadneck has 2 games left, playing Glen Burnie next weekend, and the following week, Old Mill.
No. I believe that's what they did there was if the season ended today, they would play Old Mill in the playoffs. The last
You know, I was looking at it,
Yeah.
Wes, and I tried, they have these stars listed as regular season and then playoffs.
Right.
We only had 1 star. You know what? I'm going to go back and look.
Because Broadneck, is the point that we were speaking to, was able to knock off that Old Mill team earlier in the year. Old Mill had a tough start before heating up later on.
So tonight and next week is the finish of the regular season. And again, you don't like to call games wins, but I believe a 2 and 6 as of tonight Glen Burnie team. If you can win this game tonight, you could potentially put yourself in a great position to finish the season out with running the table.
And we speak about great position. Broadneck was in a great position to move down, potentially put up another touchdown, stretch us out to a 2-possession game. The second tough snap to go over Kanan Gabley's head, able to fall back and recover over it, but not until they lost about 25 yards on that play.
Right.
Brings up 3rd and 28 as opposed to 2nd and 5.
That was big. Gabley going deep.
Roy Toomer.
Shaking the hands of the captain, number 85, Gruden. The 2 people were beneficiaries of touchdown passes from Al Gruden in the same fashion. Pump fake, cornerback fights, wide open downfield.
Blown coverage by Meade on that play. Listen, it's 3rd and forever. Just back up, play the end zone, make sure they don't pick up the first down. No need whatsoever to attempt to jump any route. Great catch by Toomer for the touchdown pass, but Meade, you got to be a little smarter on that, knowing the situation.
Not only does that cost you 7 points, but that makes it a 2-possession game.
Again.
Which could pay dividends in the end.
Which is where the issue comes in which Meade went for 2 on that last possession. If you just kick the extra point, even after this touchdown, you're still down 8 points, which is why coaches tend to wait until they absolutely have to go for 2 so that you don't place yourself in this position right here.
Absolutely. Extra point was good, putting Broadneck at 28-19.
And I was curious when some other wide receivers were going to get their numbers called. Obviously, Al Gruden had been the most effective and Caleb Gabley's favorite target tonight. But beautiful route and beautiful stop, allowing for the pump fake to be utilized to his potential. And wide open in the end zone is Roy Toomer.
And speaking of those additional receivers, as we have the run back, tackle brought down inside the 20. Speaking of those additional receivers on the Broadneck side of the ball, Gabley has a knack of getting the ball to a ton of different receivers, have been able to catch it. Roy Toomer, Tommy Jones, 2 other senior wideouts on this Broadneck squad. Roy, good to see him catch that pass. He had 18 for 288 coming into this game, but had been heating up as he had 5 in the last 2 games. He gets on the board right there.
As you mentioned, with the amount of receivers that Gabley has at his disposal. Hit 6 in the game against 6 different receivers.
Yeah.
In the game against Arundel, including a highlight reel.
Yes.
One to Chris Watts.
Yes.
That sealed the deal for Arundel. If you haven't had the opportunity to go online and check that out, that was as good of a reception, a touchdown reception that you're going to see this year.
Certainly willing to spread the ball around as we had an offsides on Broadneck, going to move Meade up.
It's Gavin Meehan.
And Hart ready to lead his team downfield to answer Broadneck.
Oof.
On the reception, Dejon Burns.
Burns made that catch and then made a slick move to take a 5-yard gain to pick up about 11 and a first down.
36. That's nothing more than great core body strength. You
Yes.
get a cornerback that comes up and wants to make a hip tackle, and you're able to pivot and turn your body in 180 and basically spin them off of it.
It's all in the hips, Wes Fox. That'll be a lesson for years to come.
I thought that was putting.
Oh.
And Hart looking back, had good time, makes the catch on that reception.
Pass good for 39 yards.
Elijah Roberts.
Great coverage, but better throw.
We've seen Elijah be able to, again, post up his defender and just get between man and ball and have the hands to bring the ball in as well.
Yeah, good coverage, great catch, even better throw. But on this possession, he is going down.
Gavin Meehan there on the pressure. My apologies for the hesitation there because I was thinking that the Broadneck fan base and faithful here were looking for an intentional grounding.
Yeah.
I think he did barely get out of the tackle box on that particular play.
He did, and he had a running back over in the vicinity as well.
So great poise there for the quarterback to Meehan bearing down on you.
And Hart handing off.
Nui Matalolo.
Meade is definitely using various backs.
Nui Matalolo, the hammer.
See, now, Coach Rich Holzer there is doing the punch. He's basically saying hit someone, quit dancing around, and you get that you send to his running back there.
Big third down. Third and long.
Very big third.
Interesting to see if Broadneck will bring the blitz or stay back in coverage. Yeah. Flag down. That's a guy, Michael Karanja, getting there a little bit early.
Burns intended receiver. And again, had he made that, I'm not even sure if that touch was even necessary because he would have been short of the first down. You wrap up and make the tackle, or wrap up and wait for clearing the team to come make the tackle. You know, it would have been a 4th and 2 or 3 costly penalty.
And that looked like exactly what Karanja was attempting to do. Wide receiver runs about a 5-yard stick route, turns around, looks for the ball. He's charging it, but the ball was delivered a little late, so he arrived a little bit early. Into the result, first down Meade.
Broadneck sideline looking intently, hoping that their defense can make this stop here. Hart. Kept it.
Nui Matalolo stepping up and making a stop again in the middle of that defense. Very effective linebackers that they've got here at Broadneck.
And you see here, this is, and again, I'm not questioning anything. I'm just pointing out Bree Hart, who's taken a multitude of hits and been on his back several times today, actually just gets stood up and the play gets stopped and somehow gets hurt on that. I'm not quite sure what it was. He was grabbing around his neck area, but not the likely candidate to hurt a player considering the hits that he's taken tonight.
Right. He's been exposed all night long. Definitely giving him credit for delivering a few passes in that face as well as making some tough runs as well.
Second down.
Blitz coming again.
Meade. Snap. Going over his head, and Hart is going to fall on it.
23-yard line.
He's definitely not happy about that, but get his composure together.
Well, his composure got the better of him there because when he spiked the ball, got the penalty on that.
Yeah.
It's going to back him up another 15 yards.
There's just some referees that you cannot do certain things to. They're just not going to tolerate.
Broadneck showed the blitz again, and it looked like they were coming both from the A-gap as well as from the Meade right side of the offensive line. Sometimes that causes those offensive linemen to get a little jumpy. Center snaps the ball over his head. Hart showing frustration as he had to go back and cover it up, knowing how important of a play that was going to be. Unfortunately, you end up with a 15-yard penalty as opposed to third and manageable. You've now got third and forever.
Yes, fourth down is 6 minutes to go. Hart's trying to lead his team down to get a touchdown, and those kind of things happening for Hart.
Able to get the pass off.
Definitely able to get it off.
Travis Cheetah.
What a play. What a play by that young man, Hart.
Yes.
26 yards
What
for the Meade
a
touchdown.
play. Hart able to get that ball out.
Looks like it's going to be a penalty against Broadneck.
There is a penalty on the play, but Hart makes a tremendous play. Broadneck brings a blitz right up the middle. Hart dead to rights on that play, able to find his running back, gets it out to him in the flats. The rest is history.
Yeah, we'll see what the ref is saying.
What a play by Cheetah there, because often two times you get in a situation where you run too far away, and the quarterback's unable to muster up enough arm strength to get it to you. He laid just around the line of scrimmage, offering himself to Bree Hart, who's in the jaws of defeat there.
Wow.
Nothing going for him. Turned something into nothing. Nothing into something, excuse me.
And that was an unsportsmanlike on the Bruins.
And we see Meade going for two again.
And on the run, Cheetah Bay bounced off.
What effort.
One defender. But he's short of the goal line.
One-handed tackle by Will Schroed.
Yeah, he almost had it in there.
Excellent effort by Will Schroed. Questionable call. It looked like he was able to swing that ball around across the goal line.
Very questionable.
Sometimes you look forward to the day when instant replay comes all the way down to high school sports.
Well, the 2 points will not be on the board for me, but they were able to get that.
And I gotta wonder or believe that the reason why you go for two in that possession right there is that if you get two, you get it back down to one possession, meaning again in the situation that if Broadneck scores a touchdown, it's an 8-point game as opposed to a 9-point game. And if you don't get it, it's still a one-possession game because you're down by 3, so a field goal still ties the game. You don't know exactly what's going through the coaches' minds, but that would be what my synopsis would be.
And I'm starting to wonder if curious if Coach Rich Holzer has more faith in his 2-point conversion team than rather his place kicker to put one through the uprights.
Well, he's already missed one and had another one blocked, so that could be a good point as well.
And Broadneck still able to hold on to this lead. 3
The
points.
Broadneck unsportsmanlike penalty on the previous touchdown.
Quite a game we got out here tonight.
I think these Anne Arundel teams, Anne Arundel County teams always bring it. And that's indicative of the 2 games that we were at last year, Old Mill at Meade and then Broadneck at Meade as well. Both of those games were surprising, and it's no coincidence that it's happening again here tonight at Broadneck.
Playoffs are going to be interesting out here.
Absolutely, and especially when you throw in that North Point team, who's played well all season, 7-1, and only lost to Stone, of course. But they beat another great team down there in Chopton.
Right.
They have some good wins under their belt. And it kind of spoils it for the Anne Arundel County juggernauts, that being Old Mill, Meade, Arundel, and Broadneck. One of them may get pushed out because of the efforts of North Point
Correct.
in the Charles County area.
Right.
First and 10, Broadneck.
And Watts was on that return for Broadneck to bring up the first and 10.
The only time Chris Watts has touched the ball, and not done much of it. Great coverage there by Meade.
And the sportsmanlike penalty that pushed that kickoff forward had a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah,
Kanan
it was
Gabling.
enforced.
Kanan Gabley coming out, 5:44 left, has put his footprint on this game, but not as much as he would have liked to. We'll see what Broadneck offense can do with the ball.
And the run right up the middle. Watts on that carry for 4 yards.
Great push there by number 54, Kyle Alston Jr., lineman there. Get a great push and allowed Bill Watts to do his thing.
We're coming down to it with 5 points left. This second half has had the feel of whoever has the ball last is going to win this ball game. If you're Broadneck, you don't want to have to give it back as Bill. Another huge run by my main man, Malik Bill Watts. Picking up a first down.
Great run.
He was dead in the crosshairs there in the backfield. Great cutback move. And just great center of gravity from him. I mean, you know, he's not a big guy. He's sitting at, I believe, about 5'9", 5'8".
Yeah.
Gabley again putting the run game into effect for Broadneck. As we said, this has been from Broadneck. More run, less pass.
Meade has struggled to put the lasso around Bill Watts in the second half,
Yes.
West Fox.
Time ticking off the clock.
Broadneck obviously in no hurry here.
Clock control.
We saw another high snap on that play. Big props going to Kanan Gabley for being able to handle that one. Don't need another one of those right now.
Yeah.
Situation here where if you're going by what's happened in the past, keep your hands around your chin and your face mask, not around your numbers, or you're already ready for the high snap.
And on that play, Bill Watts, once again.
He'll be very close on that play. It depends on where the spot was.
We'll get a measurement. I mean, and these are precious seconds for the Meade Mustangs. Starting this drive, there's about 5:30 left. They've already knocked off a minute and a half. If you can get this first down or anywhere close to punch it in, I mean, you're looking at something where they need to stop here soon. I don't believe they've used any timeouts, so you may start digging into a few of those here to save yourself at least some time to have your offense make a move at things.
Yeah, and this was an official timeout on this.
They're going to come out to measure this play. It's going to bring up a huge one. If they're short, which they will, I don't believe that there will be any hesitation to go for this, as we have seen Broadneck do this before.
And if they don't, well, check that. I believe this was fourth down. Yeah, so
it'll be fourth down here.
And you know, you have. Again, I believe that would be a slap in the face to the offense. Because as a coach, if you don't believe your team can get an inch, then you know you haven't done your job as a coach.
2 inches here to pick up. Kanan Gabley, we've seen him run the quarterback sneak very effectively once for a first down. A second time they came back only due to a penalty. If you're the Meade Mustangs, though, this fourth down, your season is potentially on the line. Can they muster up the strength to stop this right here?
Again, a loss doesn't put them out of the playoff picture, but certainly not things in their side or in their favor.
A loss makes Old Mill very happy.
Meade there trying to make that stop. Broadneck is able to push it forward. First down, Broadneck Bruins.
And as I mentioned, from a coaching standpoint, if you don't feel your team is good enough to get that inch, you haven't coached your team well enough. And Rob Harris, no hesitation in that. We know what we're going to do. And there was really no trick play at all. Gabley with the tuck and run.
Football, like the game of life, is a game of inches. Gets in there behind his big center, follows his rear end, picks up the yard that he needed. Broadneck first down. Looking to salt this clock away now.
We don't do enough any given Sunday references.
We don't. It starts now.
Another one of those snaps. Gabley able to hold on to it. Picked up 4 yards on that.
Collective gasp from the Broadneck side of this field here every time one of those shotgun snaps come in high.
And that's senior center Gunnar Henson, who's done a great job on the line, but here in the fourth quarter getting a little strong snaps there.
That's when nerves start to come into play, West Fox.
Indeed. Gabley.
Big stop.
Big stop on that. That was number 50 on the stop.
We saw Big James Williams breaking through behind the line of scrimmage. Read option being run there. Not too much threat of Bill Watts getting the ball. Kanan Gable keeping it all the way. Number 50 comes in, blows the play up, brings up a 3rd and long here.
2 minutes and 46 seconds left on the clock. We have a 3-point game here, gentlemen.
Yeah, Meade calls a timeout, of course, to preserve the time. Broadneck would have been able to run us down to close to about 2 minutes. Another play would have been able to run us down to about 1.5 minutes. However, they're beginning to utilize their timeouts here, looking to get the ball back with enough time on the clock to potentially hit a big pass or two.
I believe if you're Broadneck, obviously the execution factor comes in. One of those snaps to go over Kanan Gable's head, as we've seen twice tonight, and pin you further back. If that comes into account when you play calling, it may pay dividends for me.
It'll be interesting to see on this play whether they give Gable the option to throw the ball. I'd get him out on the corner, have him a run-throw option. Instead, he's sacked.
Gable sacked. And, of course, he does not look pleased.
Timothy Williams, good job of not getting up off his feet and trying to block the pass. He had one goal in mind, and that was tackle the quarterback. Great job.
They have effectively bottled up Kanan Gable all night long. Great job by the Meade Mustangs, coming up with the stop when they needed it. Use their second timeout. They'll have 1 left. We'll see if the Broadneck punter can send this one down deep and make this one difficult for Meade to return.
So again, it wasn't ideal for Meade. Broadneck starting this drive with about a little over 5, and they were able to knock off a couple minutes, a couple very precious minutes for Meade. But, it's better now than with 1 minute or 30 seconds left. You have a little over 2 minutes to try to muster up 3 points. Meade's done that to some effectiveness tonight. Whether or not Broadneck can make the stop when they need to is yet to be seen.
We've seen the last couple of punts not travel quite as far as the Broadneck punter would have liked to have seen. Special teams could turn this game.
Yes, they could, Chad. Sending it away.
Almost blocked that.
Down to me.
Huge Broadneck bounce.
Chibide. A little dancing down there. When he decides to come upfield, Broadneck right there to meet him.
Broadneck doing a great job staying in their proverbial lanes on that play, able to make the tackle. Very good punt.
And we'll see what Meade has to offer. Time is ticking off of the clock.
And that's got to be a bittersweet tackle for that special teams from Broadneck. Chibide showed the ability, or has shown the ability to break out the long one. You figure, I just want to get that guy one time.
Right.
I just want to tackle that guy one time. It would mean something.
This game is now going to rest on the legs and hands of Taiwan Harmon as well as Michael Karanja, who have been beaten deep a couple of times this evening. We'll see if Meade can hit another post pattern.
Hart, first play.
Oh, that ball came out.
That was Elijah Roberts.
Hitting his target.
That ball came out.
But the ball coming out. The Bruins recovering. This is big.
Sometimes it's not how many times you turn the ball over.
It's when you turn it over.
Elijah Roberts, the opportunity to not only get some yards, maybe not the first down, but get out of bounds. You wonder if he got a little greedy on that.
Elijah Roberts has had an excellent game. He's exactly the wide receiver in which I figured that Meade would go to in that situation. He made the catch, turned the ball upfield. A Broadneck player got a hand in there, dropped the ball. Big-time recovery by Mike Karanja. That's got to feel good as he's been victimized a few times here this game.
Karanja feeling good. Roberts, not so much right now.
Surprisingly, surprised to see Broadneck still in the shotgun as opposed to just going down under center at this point. Why even take the chance with a snap going over his head again?
And what has happened earlier in the game?
A couple of times.
They would keep that in mind, and like you said, Chad, stay under center, run the clock, take the win.
Put this game away. Meade calling their 3rd and final timeout here.
And, if you're that defense, you got to think, man, we did such a good job to get you guys.
Great job.
In the offense, the opportunity to make something out of this. And tip of the cap to the defense of Broadneck, forcing a turnover at the most inopportune time for Meade.
Correct.
Shoot.
Yeah, I can imagine right now that Elijah Roberts.
Heartbroken.
Yeah.
But I will say, though, if this game winds up with this final score, if you're Meade, and if you do get yourself, the fate lies in your hands, you do play a Arundel next week, you can get into the playoffs, but you had to think that, we can play with this team. This is the undefeated team. This will be the #1 team in the bracket.
Jabelli going long.
Very questionable.
I'm not sure why this play was called.
Incomplete.
Very questionable call. Gabley goes back into the shotgun, throws it up for Rudden, who's had a big game he has, but the clock is going to stop on that incomplete pass.
My only thought was that maybe they think that Meade would stack the line of scrimmage and Moon would have one-on-one, which he's had some success tonight. But again,
it's now 3rd down.
3rd down, and keep it simple. Keep it simple, Broadneck.
Big run. And Canaan goes out of bounds, and he didn't pick up the 1st down. A double whammy by Broadneck on that play.
4th down.
4th down, 1 minute, 57 seconds left. Are they wanting? Are they trying to help out this Meade team?
Doing everything they can to keep Meade in this ball game.
Now it looks like they're going for the 4th down. My intuition would be to have a half punt, some sort of
Pooch punt?
sidekick pooch punt.
Yeah.
Get it out of bounds. Don't even let Travis Cheetah Bay get the opportunity to catch it and pin him down at least within the 10.
Hey.
Rob Harris calling a timeout for his team.
West
Get
Fox,
the troops together.
Cheetah Bay isn't the only monster they have over there that can take that thing back.
That's true. We have seen Nunu Whitley on a few special teams returns. A number of weapons there for the Meade Mustangs. Some questionable play calling here for the undefeated and usually well-coached Broadneck Bruins, putting themselves in an opportunity to give Meade another crack at this.
Extraordinarily questionable play calling there. You gotta figure with Meade burning their 3rd and final timeout on 1st down, they could have run the ball on the next 2 plays, stayed in bounds, and burned at least another minute off of this clock.
Gabelli. There's a flag on the play.
It's a false start.
False start.
It's a false start.
5-yard penalty.
5 yards.
And now you're going to back this up to about the 32, West Fox. Maybe we'll see a punt now.
You'll see that sometimes when teams will purposely have a delayed game to run it back
Not
5 yards to give themselves the punter who's more comfortable from a certain distance, but I don't think that's this at all. I think that was just a flat-out mistake.
I would certainly punt this ball if I was Broadneck. They are going for it.
I don't think that's happening, Chad. They're
You'd
going
like to
for
see
it.
Broadneck keep the ball on the ground. If they pass the ball,
Gabley looking for his target. Incomplete.
Pass intended.
Ball
Wow.
on to Meade. Meade's offense is coming on the field
at the 31-yard line.
right now.
the Meade defense stiffens there, and amazingly after the turnover, this Meade offense is now going to get the ball back. The Broadneck offense took a total of 40 seconds off of the clock in 4 plays.
I was starting to talk about next week. I was starting to talk about playoff seeding. Wow.
Totally unacceptable on behalf of this Broadneck offense.
Hart back. 3 receivers. His target couldn't hold on to that one. Troy Brown. Intended target on that play.
Meade had 2 receivers in the same vicinity on that play. One of them had to have run the wrong route.
Someone ran the wrong route.
It'll be interesting to see as Brehart has done a great job throwing posts and other passes over the middle, whether he has a strong enough arm to be able to throw the ball to the sidelines where his receivers can then get out of bounds.
This may be the same play that they just tried a few moments ago. Cheetah Bay.
Screen pass to Cheetah Bay.
Excellent play call. Chittibe able to catch the ball, and he also had a blocker out there who was able to help him get out of bounds.
1st and 10. Mustangs.
That'll bring up a 1st and 10 for me.
Well, a simple play call and stretch the defense out enough and let your running back just sit in some open space.
Hart looking back. Pass down the middle of the field. I'm not sure who the intended target was for that, possibly Will Huff.
Second down.
But it was incomplete. But what we have here is they just need to get in field goal range, gentlemen.
Well, and you don't have a ton of faith in your field goal kicker right now, so that's why you see him looking for a big strike to get you to the point where you have an opportunity to win the game as opposed to trotting them back out there. But he had Will Huff on that catch right there.
Field goal range for this kicker may be 15,
Right.
20 yards, so you have a ways to go.
Hart looking back again. Able to hit Troy Brown.
And Troy Brown making that catch, picking up a couple of yards, but he turned in instead of turning out, so he was tackled inbounds, and so the clock keeps ticking away.
Troy Brown, senior.
Here we go.
Veteran to this team.
Intentional
grounding is what they're going to call.
I'm not so sure. Not sure about that call because it looked like Hart clearly got outside of the tackle box, and that ball did reach the line of scrimmage.
A minute and 3 seconds left. Fourth down for the Meade Mustangs. All or nothing.
Is that how you saw that play, West Fox?
It's absolutely shot. Unless, again, we're sitting at the yard line looking at it. Z-axis maybe a little spur because of where we're sitting. I thought he got it.
Flag on the play.
It's a false start on this play.
Broadneck sideline is ramped up here. Sideline fans going crazy here, trying to build up as much noise as possible. Throw Meade off. 5-star, false start on Meade. Once again, pushing them back.
I think it's time for the old hook and ladder.
Yeah. Went from a fourth and very manageable to fourth and a mile.
You calling the hook and ladder, Wes?
It's a tough call by the officials. It really looked like Hart had gotten outside of the tackle box and that his pass had reached the line of scrimmage. Would have loved to have heard a call on that play.
It looks like Hart is trying to go again for this play that he's been trying to get out the entire time. That's a forward pass.
Trick play called, and it was there. It was there. We saw Hart throw the ball. Was that Elijah Roberts or was that over to McGee? Pass went over to Elijah Roberts on that play. He had Hart streaking on the sidelines. Had that ball gotten to him, that might have been 6 for Meade.
I think Roberts, yes, while it wasn't an underthrown ball, I think it was due to the pressure. He didn't have enough time to really set his feet. Had to throw that ball on the run. And obviously Hart, not a route runner, definitely got himself in position to make the play. And we were sitting there drawing and making jokes about it. Second down. 4th and 35 play call.
Right. They had one. They had one. You run not trips, but quadruple wide receivers down to one side. Throw what looks like a wide receiver screen. The wide receiver, it was a lateral. Wide receiver then throws the ball to the quarterback over on the other side. He was wide open. Unfortunately, it didn't quite reach, and it looks like Broadneck is going to hold on for a victory here.
How about this Broadneck Bruin team? I mean, what more can you say about them? Now they're going 9-0 in the season, putting themselves in a tremendous opportunity to run the table on the regular season and get the number 1 seeding for this 4A South.
Amazing.
Broadneck players turn to the fans and chant, "We are the Bruins." And I almost think they were chanting to the song, "We are the Titans," but you know they insert the Bruins. And I'm feeling some kind of way about that because I am a TC Titan. But I love it. I absolutely love it. The Broadneck Bruins are going to come away with the win, 9-0 on the season.
Not only that, avenging and 2 losses to the Mustangs last season. A lot of these players, a number of these guys on the Broadneck team, obviously were members of that squad, and a bittersweet victory for that team. You know, what could have been an opportunity for me to get back in this game and tie it up. A few turnovers there, a few costly ones. I have to say that the Meade Mustangs played at about a B plus level, while
Correct.
probably did a B plus A minus level.
Right.
Just enough to get the victory.
Yeah.
Dub's a dub.
A W is a W any way that you call it. And what we saw there in the second half is they took the ball out of Kanan Gabley's hands, inserted Malik Bill Watts, who had a huge second half running the ball, including those 2 long touchdowns. If I had a vote, Bill Watts would be my player of the game for this Broadneck squad.
2 rushing touchdowns, and both of them were between the 15 and 20
Yes.
yard runs. I mean, it
Right.
wasn't like it was goal line cupcake
Correct.
things. I mean, it was where he had to make a move and get to the open field. Showed great poise, great center
Yes.
of gravity, and really showed us why
Yes,
he's
he
a
did.
great athlete.
Yeah.
Right, and as we saw in the second half, Meade came out, tried to dig a little deeper in their depth chart. We saw some young men hit the field that hadn't hit the field the first half of the game. They came out, Londell Montgomery was able to punch it in for Meade, but not quite enough for them to pull out the win tonight, gentlemen.
Well, if there's anything like I mentioned before, you never really feel good about a defeat, but maybe you feel good with the fact that you competed with the best team in the area. And if you're going to hit the playoffs, you can tell yourselves, hey, we had this team where we wanted them. Didn't
Yes.
quite come out with it, but you put that on the back burner. You put that in your memory bank
Yeah.
and take it with you.
And how about the toughness we saw all night long from Meade quarterback Bree Hart, standing in the pocket, delivering passes while getting hit, running the ball, delivering huge first down as well as touchdown runs. This Meade squad has nothing to hang their heads about. They came out here, they played strong, they kept coming back no matter how many times Broadneck hit them. This looked like a championship fight. Broadneck, last team standing.
And Wes, I know you spoke about the playoff contentions after this game tonight. Go over that for us.
Well, right now, obviously, Broadneck, the #1 seed, and I believe depending upon what comes out, what Arundel does and what North Point does, one of those 2 teams will be number 2 and 3. And as it stands right now, Meade currently in the number 4, but Old Mill could play spoiler and fill in that 4 spot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Old Mill, of course, owning the tiebreaker over this this Meade squad as well.
Well, gentlemen, what a great game tonight. Again, another S.E.N. production brought to you. Join us again next week, as that is our last in-season game, gentlemen.
Coming up
All
next
right.
week. Can't
All
wait to
right.
see it.
Absolutely. And check us online at SENtelevision.com for that location. It is to be determined at this time. But again, thank you for joining us. For Wes and Chad, I'm Monet Anderson. Hope you had a good evening, and absolutely hope you enjoyed your Halloween. Those kids knocking at the door during the game, you know, but you can always come back and check in with us and catch up. But we enjoyed it. Definitely have a good night.
Fox and Amazing.